cybersecurity, healthcare, and more. With affordable and online programs, you can unlock new opportunities to help you succeed again. At UMGC, success is yours for the taking and the making, and nothing should keep you from it, especially not an application fee. Apply now and we'll waive your application fee. Classes start August 12th. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Congratulations to the New York Knicks. They are the 2026 NBA champions. WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York. Todd.
You know, maybe they can go pee on each other. That'd be great.
Hahn.
There's a lot of women out there that want you, Alan.
And Rosenberg.
Give me the porn, for God's sake. This isn't North Dakota. This is New York.
This is Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg.
The best threesome I've ever heard.
On ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
3 o'clock in the big city. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg on a Monday. Hopefully everybody had a fantastic weekend. I'm flying solo today till 6:30, and then it's the Mets and the Braves over at Citi Field, weather pending. Got some thunderstorms rolling in, but I think they're going to get this game in. But I get a chance to kind of flex it a little bit, all by myself for 3.5 hours, but not really. I've got Jacob manning the controls. I've got Anthony Pusick producing this fine program. And I have you to participate at 1-800-919-3776. Lots to get into. We got this Kyle Shanahan story. Gets into a car accident, gets banged up pretty bad. He's okay. But when in this world do you see a story just be sat on for a dozen days? Usually TMZ has it 5 minutes after it happens. What's going out there in the Bay Area? They're able to sit on that kind of a story. And why exactly did they sit on it? Just got into a car accident. It's not that big of a deal. Apparently nobody was drunk. Nobody was killed. But what's going on there? We'll get into that. We'll get into some football. Going to talk to Bob Wischusen a little bit later on. We haven't had a chance to talk to him at all, get his expectations for the upcoming Jet season. I already told you about you kind of pulling in both directions. You want them to lose, so you get the quarterback, but you want them to win to know that you have the head coach. Because there's only two things that you need. Well, not only two things, but the two biggest things you need to be successful in the NFL is a quarterback and a head coach. They don't have the quarterback. We know that. Geno Smith's not part of the future, but do they have the coach? Some believe they do. Some believe they don't. Some aren't sure. I was listening to the morning show with DiPietro and Rothenberg, and Dave is convinced, absolutely convinced, that Aaron Glenn is not the guy. So just lose out, get the quarterback, and then with all the picks and with a top-flight quarterback coming out of college, that should be attractive enough to land a really good head coach the way the Giants were able to land John Harbaugh because they've got, it looks like, the quarterback in place, and that should be enough for them to be able to go out there and get the coach, and it did in John Harbaugh, so that's what the Jets are hoping to do. So we'll talk to Wischusen about that. But I wanted to start with the Yankees. They had a really good weekend. They took 2 out of 3 from a good Philadelphia team in Philly. Still, the feeling around the New York Yankees is, well, they didn't hit. Well, the best offensive machine in the game is out. And then Bellinger gets hurt on Saturday, and he gets put on the IL. So it's not like Bellinger is really doing anything anyway, but potentially can be a big gun for them offensively. But the one thing that I think the Yankees have going for them is they can flat out pitch. Now, they lost the game yesterday. It got ugly. But Warren pitched. You know, and they've lost some games recently, not this weekend because they won the game on Saturday with Weathers, but it seems like when they have Weathers or Warren pitching and they're going to need some offense, they don't get it because they're just not a great offensive team. You're just listening to Michael Kay. Outside of Rice, I mean, who's consistently hitting? Jazz has been clutch for them, but again, not hitting for much of an average. There really isn't any kind of power outside of Rice, and Dominguez had a big home run over the weekend. But they need to get Judge back. And now Bellinger's going to be on the IL for the next 10 days, so hopefully it'll just be for those 10. But if it's any length of time, they're going to be in trouble offensively. But the problem, people, and I'd love to be able to hear from you because I know a lot of you out there like scout all of the bad teams trying to figure out who the Yankees are going to trade for. at 1-800-919-3776. But who are you trading for? You know, I keep hearing everybody talk about the Yankees got to be all in. They got to go for it. Go for who? You know, Langoliers was a guy, good catcher with the Sacramento Athletics, Vegas Athletics, Oakland, whatever you want to call them. But now he's hurt with a meniscus, could be done for the year. You're not going to be trading for somebody that's got a bad knee. You heard Michael talking about Goodman is a good offensive player, but the Yankees like good defensive catchers, and he's not a good defensive catcher, so they might not have any interest in him. It doesn't seem like there's anybody sexy out there to get, and it doesn't feel like there's anybody healthy enough to go out there and get, but yet everybody wants them to be all in. All in for what? The only thing to be all in for is pitching. If you're sitting here and you can't hit, and you go out and get another starting pitcher, I mean, that's nice, a little insurance policy in case Rodon doesn't come back or Cole suffers a setback or Fried doesn't come all the way back. It'd be nice maybe to be able to get a starting pitcher. You hear Mason Miller, closer. I mean, I don't know, is San Diego out? I mean, they've got a lot of teams they've got to climb over, but are they going to be trading him away? I'm not sure he's available. I haven't heard that he's available. People are making that assumption because the Padres have had a really disappointing second half of the season. They're not winning the division, and they've got so many teams between them and the last wild card spot that people assume that maybe he'd be available. But is that the Yankees' problem? I know sometimes with Bednar, it's a high wire act, and it'd be a nice thing to have. But if your problem is hitting, getting more pitching, I guess it sounds nice. But you can't allow less than 0 runs, right? Like, we're not playing aggregate when you get to the postseason, where it's about outscoring the opponent overall in the series, about winning games. And right now, the Yankees look like they've got a starting rotation and a bullpen that should be able to hold teams down. Philadelphia's a really good offensive team, and they were held down for those 2 games because they got great pitching performances in a bandbox of a ballpark, and yet held Philadelphia to just 2 runs in the first 2 games of the series. And then it went sideways. You know why? Because, you know, you just didn't have everybody available in the bullpen, and you didn't have a starting pitcher that is going to be pitching in the postseason. Warren is not starting a game in the postseason in all likelihood. Weathers is not going to start a game in the postseason in all likelihood. It's going to be Schlittler. It's going to be Cole. It's going to be Fried. It's going to be Rodon. And even if Rodon is somebody that you're not really that confident in, really it's about 3 good starting pitchers, right? Once you get into the playoffs, it's really about just those 3 that are going to be able to get you. And they seem to have enough. When they lose games, I know Cole lost a couple of games recently because the offense didn't hit, but you're going to get Judge back. There is no indication other than paranoia from Yankee fans that Judge isn't going to come back. The question is, will he be judged when he comes back? But he should be able to be back. It's disconcerting that Stanton hasn't played since April 24th, and there's no timetable for him to come back. But the feeling is he should be ready for the postseason, and that should be good enough based on his history. This injury to Bellinger doesn't look like it's long-term. I am not going to sit here and tell you that the offense is okay. It's not. But is there anybody to go out and get that is going to make or break this season for the Yankees? So this all in on who? 1-800-919-3776. All in on who? What offensive player is going to do it? And I talked about this last week when we had Jake Assman on. You explained to me how Cashman is going to be all in when there's nobody really to be all in on, and he probably looks at the American League and says, I still think we're good. And I can't disagree with that sentiment. I know as a fan, a Yankee fan, and Anthony Pusick is a perfect example of that. They're dead. They're a dead stick. They're not going anywhere. But if you take a look at the odds, they've got the best odds to make it out of the American League. Better than the Rays, who are in first place. Better than Seattle. Better than Texas, who've been going back and forth for first place in the West. And believe me, you almost throw your bat and helmet and glove on the field and beat any of the teams coming out of the Central. That's been the case since the midges. So Brian Cashman is going to look at the American League and go, we got this. Because there's the two schools of thought. If you got it and it's a weak American League, don't do anything. I don't have to mortgage the future. We're going to probably get to the World Series anyway. Or let's be all in and let's not even leave any doubt at all. Let's just stomp the competition and just run right through everybody in the American League. Brian doesn't think that way. He's always thinking about the future. And if he thinks his team is good enough, he's not going to do anything for insurance. He'll make maintenance moves, but he's not going to be all in on just some player. He'll be all in on the player. But who is the player? Who is the guy that's going to put this team over the top? Do you know who it might be? It might be Lombard Jr. That might be the guy. You know, it's a lot to ask a kid, but maybe at some point he gets called up and he's the guy that is the turnaround. I remember that in 1988. Again, I'm an old man, when the Mets called up Greg Jeffries, and he was the future, and they called him up in 88, and he was a major part of that team, winning 100 games and going to the League Championship Series. They didn't go to the World Series that year. They ended up having that awful loss to the Los Angeles Dodgers, and Socia hit that home run off of Gooden and all that. But sometimes calling up a kid can be what you need. And he's raking in the minor leagues. At some point, he's going to have to get called up, right? I mean, you could sit there and wait and nurture and nurse a guy, but at some point, he just deserves to be up there. If he's hitting in AAA, there's nothing left to prove anymore. And maybe he can bring some offense, because let's face it, the left side of that infield isn't producing very much offensively. Yeah, you're going to get pretty decent D out of third and short, but you're not going to get much offense. Maybe he can supply that, or at least be somebody that could be in a position to do it. Like, you're not asking him to be the guy, but maybe you call him up and he ends up being the guy. Now, it doesn't seem like they have an appetite to do it. Last week, we kind of got duped when he was out of the lineup in AAA, but it turned out it was just he needed a rest. And he didn't get called up when Bellinger went down, because they called up Jones again. But we got a long time between now and September 1st. The trade deadline is August 3rd. But at any moment during the month of August, as long as it's before September 1st, they can call up Lombard Jr. and be available for the postseason, because the Yankees are going to the postseason. And even though they're 3 games back of the Rays, I still believe, if I bet, even with all the issues that they have with their offense, I would still bet they're winning this division. But you're no longer in that one-and-done wild card situation. You want to avoid the wild card, but it's not like the one-and-dones from back in the day. If they had to go through the wild card, as weak as the American League is, nobody scares me. Because that's what it really comes down to. Who scares you? So we'll see if they make a move. But here is my hot take to get the ball rolling here at 1-800-919-3776. And I know people are going to get into this conversation. If they make a move and don't go to the World Series, it'll look bad because they made a move, especially if they get Judge back. If they don't make a move, it's a statement by Cashman, I think this team's good enough to go to the World Series, especially if they get Judge back. So here's the easy statement to make. If they get Judge back, and when I say get Judge back, they get Judge back sometime around September. He gets a month to 3 weeks to get his bat back, and he's fine come playoffs. This team has to go to the World Series, right? Has to. Whether they do something or not, a healthy Judge in the postseason with this American League. You don't believe in the Rays. You don't believe in the Red Sox, who still, granted, go out there and win 15 straight games. That's not nothing. But they still have a lot of gap to make up. They're most likely not going to pass the Yankees or the Rays. They're most likely going to be the second or third wild card, most likely the second. So they're going to have home field disadvantage in the postseason. Not saying they're not a threat, but they're not that big of a threat, okay? So whether the Yankees make a move or not, they got to go to the World Series. So with that said, how can you, with a straight face, if you're the New York Yankee brass, not make the World Series and not make a change? Because you've set yourself up, a weak-ass American League, You should be able to get Judge back. Now, if Judge doesn't come back, all bets are off because I don't like to use injuries as an excuse, but losing Aaron Judge for almost half a season and not having him in the postseason or having him a shell of himself in the postseason, that's an issue that you can't ignore, and that's a pretty decent excuse. But come on, man. If you don't make a move, you're telling the world, listen, we're good. And then if you're not good, no one's held accountable? And if you do make a move of any kind of significance and you don't go to the World Series, how is no one held accountable for that? I'm always the defender of Cashman and Boone because they're always in it. They're always winning. They're always in a position to win a championship. They don't, in recent vintage for Cashman, ever for Boone. But, hey, they could be every other team in the American League. The Blue Jays go from Game 7 of the World Series to being 10 games under 500. Teams yo-yo all over the place. Never the Yankees, always above board. Always have their head above water. Always. Every year. For generations. But how can you not go to the World Series and not hold somebody accountable, man? You fired Joe Girardi, essentially, losing Game 7 of the League Championship Series. You gave Torrey no rope after a series of mishaps in the postseason, and that was a guy that got you 4 championships in 5 years. I would be utterly convinced that if the Yankees miss out on the World Series this year, and especially have an early exit, and nobody's held accountable, then I think I will then believe that these jobs are absolutely for life. 1-800-919-3776. What better place to start it all off with Griffin in Connecticut? You're on ESPN New York. What's up, Griff?
Hey, Don. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm someone who's always positive, and you always hear me all the time. I'm always positive with the Yankees, and I never look at the negative. So maybe it's to me where I don't believe they need, like everyone says, go all in, go all in. They need 5 guys. They need 6 hitters. I'm thinking to myself, I don't think we do. I think if we call up George Lombard, like you talked about, you get maybe someone like Elaine Thomas or Joe Adele or Jorge Soler that can play the outfield. And when you want to give Judge to help when you face lefties and stuff in the playoffs. You add that, then you get a right-handed hitting catcher, you get Judge back, you get Stanton back, and you get Bellinger back. Plus, this pitching is phenomenal. Like you said, and Rodon is supposed to be back. Clark Schmidt is supposed to be back, so you can throw him into the bullpen and help. And you never know. They might acquire someone in the bullpen. They might acquire someone at this trade deadline, and we think of that name and we go, really? And the next thing you know, they do great. Because no way in the world did we think Brett Hendricks, Angel Chavihi, or Paul Blackburn were going to be big pieces for this team. And right now, those 3 people were being talked about when we talk about the Yankee bullpen. Yep. Never thought that you would throw those 3 in there as big pieces for this bullpen, how great they've been. So they always find this weird guy in the bullpen that you never know what they are. So they could acquire that. It's just, I believe you have the pitching. If you just get just enough offense, you can go to the World Series because, like you said, there's not a team in the American League that you are scared of. The AL West is so bad that these teams are so the Mariners are below 500 and they're half a game.
I know
away from maybe winning that division.
That's what's so crazy. There's better teams in the Central, and those teams aren't any good. Like, I understand you want to be all in, Griff, but I do. As bad as the Yankees are offensively, they should still go to the American League championship game at least, if not the World Series. The Rays have proven you nothing. The Red Sox needed a 15-game winning streak. They're still only the second wild card team. I don't believe in any of those teams in the Central Division, and I certainly don't believe any of the teams in the West. Griffin's right. We may see a team under 500 win that division. Rangers aren't any good. Mariners aren't any good. It's a lot of bad baseball. So I don't think never mind what I think. I just don't think Cashman is going to look at this and go, I need to be all in and mortgage the future. I think we can make it anyway. And what they do at the deadline, and we're a week away, so there's still a lot of baseball to be played before any major decisions have to be made. But if they don't make any moves, you got to figure they know Judge is going to be back. Scott in Nanuet, you're on Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. What's up, man?
What's up? O'Neal Cruz would be on my radar. He still has lots of control.
Yeah, he's arbitration eligible next year. But here's the thing. Pittsburgh's only a game out of a wild card spot, and they haven't done anything in forever, Scott. So can they be like sellers?
Well, I'm a
close?
Pirate fan. You don't have to tell me about that. But,
right.
But I've been a Pirate fan since Ford Field, so you don't have to tell me about that.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is the Pirates have been able to do stuff without Cruz, so why not get rid of Cruz and get something back for Cruz?
Well, you'd know better than me how they play without him. Now, I'm looking at his stats. I mean, okay batting average. He's got 14 home runs. He certainly be better than what they've had from an insurance policy compared to Dominguez, who's been hurt, and Jones, who's been up and down in the minor leagues. But I just don't know when you've got a guy, a small market team, Scott, that all right, arbitration eligible, but he's still not a free agent until 29. You're only a game out. I mean, what would you want from the Yankees that can keep you in this race?
Well, I'm not sure, but obviously the Pirates need bullpen help. So, it would have to be something like that.
Yeah, but I just don't know if the Yankees are going to be parting ways with a bullpen that probably is looking for some insurance in the bullpen rather than dealing bullpen off. Because Cashman's going to look at it like, I got options in the outfield. Bellinger's going to come back from his injury. I've got Jones. He's another audition here with Bellinger being out. I've got Dominguez that when healthy is supposed to be the Martian. I don't know if the Yankees will be selling off any bullpen to bring in an insurance policy for the outfield. Now, Bellinger gets hurt, different story. But again, if you're a Pirate fan, you probably watch a lot more Pirate baseball than I do. I only watch the Pirates when they're taking on the Mets, Giants, or Yankees in my household. But for a team that hasn't done anything in a decade and a half, I don't think they're going to be throwing anything away when they're a game out of a wild card spot and a chance to go into the postseason for the first time in a long time. 1-800-919-3776. Who are you looking to get? Also, I need to get into it a little bit with an old friend. We've got the weekend recap coming up at 4:30. We got an Anthony Pusick ENN led at 6. And then at 6:30, it's the Mets and the Braves. Just get started. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. Don flying solo on ESPN New York.
This is DiPietro and Rothenberg.
The whole Couchcast thing, I don't sign off on this.
Maybe you guys fight to be the biggest football fans.
Nobody wants to see that, though.
Yeah, they do. They want to see you and Peter going at it. When you go to the zoo, you don't want to see the lions just sleeping.
You want to see them throwing feces at each other. That's
you
what
want to see them
be.
attack something.
The worse things go, the crazier I get.
This is DiPietro and Rothenberg.
You're not a spanker, are you?
Morning Start with DiPietro and Rothenberg. Weekdays from 6 to 10 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNNewYorkContests.com.
That's ESPNNewYorkContests.com.
There you were, surrounded by fans. Everybody remembers the game. Nobody remembers the guy coughing behind you. Till a few days later, at 2 a.m., you wake up with a fever and your throat's on fire. Now what? Urgent care? Closed. ER? Slammed. Telehealth? Maybe, but the pharmacy's closed. You needed a medical emergency kit. These aren't first aid kits. They contain essential prescriptions used for over 30 common conditions. Sinus and ear infection, UTIs, stomach bugs, traveler's diarrhea, and more on hand before you need them. Use your doctor-developed guidebook to select the right prescription or call their telemedicine doctor standing by. It's like an urgent care and drugstore at home. When you're sick, traveling, or stranded, you'll wish you'd ordered a medical emergency kit. Order online in minutes and it's shipped to your door. And save $45 with my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880. That's promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880.
If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique personal injury and workers' compensation laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling all types of accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for injured New Yorkers. From construction to car accidents and slips and falls, they've got you covered. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS, where your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
This is the Michael Kay Show.
Here's the one thing I think is the conundrum for Brian Cashman. If Judge doesn't come back, now doctors reportedly are telling them that he is going to come back. When that's going to be, anybody's guess. But if Judge doesn't come back, by making trades and using collateral to get players back to fill holes, are you throwing good money after bad? I think they can make the playoffs without Judge. I don't think they can win a championship without Judge.
The Michael Kay Show, weekdays at 1 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube. Presented by the Parisman Firm.
Hey, it's Alan Hahn. At Rings End, they're there to help realize your modern design visions. That's why they partner with Marvin. Engineered for big ideas, Marvin modern windows and doors deliver effortless elegance, expansive views, and industry-leading innovation, all in a modular system designed to meet the exacting principles of modern architecture. Experience Marvin Modern at a Rings End showroom today and create something stunning with them. Rings End is a certified Marvin installing retailer.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
And now let's take a look at the traffic with Brandy Scott.
Hey there, guys. Good afternoon. Some rough weather making its way through Nassau County. LIE eastbound just packed heading over to Jericho Turnpike. Long line of brake lights backing up to the Cross Island in Queens. All of your purchase the outbound George pretty bad. Cross Bronx westbound just picked up a broken down tractor trailer by Webster Avenue. Still not moving much there from the Bruckner. West Side Highway northbound. Looks like an accident right before the ramps to the Cross Bronx. You're crawling there and backed up into the 110s. Inbound George, still have some road work on the upper deck, about a 45-minute ride using 80, 95, and 46. Definitely a bit better from the Route 4 approach. Outbound Lincoln Ornia 20 to 30. Stick with the outbound Hahn about 15 to 20. This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you're not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Visit mad.org. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-731-4558 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-731-4558 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-731-4558 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
Just like the New Jersey Devils bring intensity on the ice, Viking Pest Control brings that same level of protection to your home. I know this because I use Viking at my own place. Season may be over, but pests are always in play, so it is time to lock in your off-season defense. As the pest control provider and proud partner of the Devils, Viking provides 45 years of trusted experience to keep ants, cockroaches, stinging insects, rodents, mosquitoes, and more out of your zone. Their local team builds a personalized game plan that actually works, and when you bundle pest control mosquito services, that just gets the job done, and it saves you big time. I have them. It's that time of year. You want to have barbecues. You don't want to have ants. You don't want to have insects, mosquitoes. And they come by. They call you when they're going to come by to do a service. And you can tell them, listen, I've got a bit of an ant problem that I didn't have before. Then they're right on it. One company, total peace of mind. Visit VikingPest.com, protecting your home inside and out. Talking a little baseball. We'll get to the Mets a little bit later on. I have to go after an old friend. At 4 o'clock, an old, dear friend I'm going to have to go after because it just will not stand. Peter and Alan are off. Peter will be back tomorrow. Alan will be back next Monday. And then I will go on vacation. So it'll be a while before we're all back together again, but I think we'll be able to fight through it. It's called the summer, man. This is what we do in the summer is we get ready because once September happens and then football and then Alan's going to have Knicks and I'm going to have Devils and it's going to be on. So we're going to have to get into all of that a little bit later on. Coming up at 4:30, we've got the weekend recap. I've got a very, very odd weekend recap. You're going to have to. It's. I was telling the guys before, I still don't believe it. I was told one thing, and I still don't believe it. And I got another thing too, that I'm not the only one who on the air killed somebody off. Remember when I killed off Sidney Poitier? Who did eventually die, but just not the day I said. I confused his birthday with the death.
Don, did you tweet rest in peace to Sidney Poitier?
Yeah, 92. He passed away.
That's his birthday today.
No, didn't. Turns 92. Dear God.
At least it was corrected in real time. A prominent radio host killed off a prominent person. And to my knowledge, some 3 days later, has not been corrected. And I will have all of that coming up at 4:30 on the weekend recap. But talking about the Yankees, what are they going to do? What are they not going to do? Here's my synopsis in case you missed the beginning of the show. I'm not sure who's out there. I'm not sure what they're going to do. But either way, guys, this team has to go to the World Series or something has to happen. It probably won't. These guys seem to have jobs for life. And this is coming from somebody that is an Aaron Boone fan. I think he's a good manager. I think he's a better guy. I'm not calling for his job per se. But if this team does not go to the World Series and has an early exit, I just don't know how you could sit there and tell the fans again, injuries. Well, we didn't have Cole. We didn't have Stanton. We didn't have Judge. We didn't have Fried. We didn't have Rodon for certain periods of time. All I know is you basically got your pitching back pretty much whole. All right? And even without Judge, this team should still be able to make the playoffs, if not win the division. And if you get Judge back, forget Stanton, if you get Judge back and all your pitchers back in time in this weak American League and you don't go and you followed up a loss to the Dodgers in the World Series by missing the World Series the next 2 years and a team that talks about mission statement championship not doing anything, I don't know what to say at that point. Now, World Series win, that's tough because I don't know if they're beating the Dodgers. Although they did play the Dodgers tough, losing those 2 out of 3 without Judge. With Judge, I think they'd have a fair chance of beating them. And outside of the Dodgers, you just saw they handled the Phillies winning 2 out of 3. Brewers never do anything in the postseason. So I'm not sure you should be knocking knees against the team in the World Series either. But I don't think you should be scared of anybody. But I'll lay it short of a championship because I do think the National League is going to be better. And certainly if you're not whole. But this American League, man, is embarrassing. Not good. It used to be, the last wild card team's not good or somebody out of the Central Division is not good. Nobody's good. There's 2 good teams. The Rays and the Yankees. And I doubt the Rays are going to add at the deadline. And whether the Yankees do or don't, as presently constituted, with guys coming back and only 3 back of the Rays who are definitely propelling themselves where they are on an amazing start, I still think the Yankees are the class of the American League. Vegas has them the class of the American League. Now, Vegas got the NBA all wrong with the Knicks, but usually Vegas is pretty on. And the Yankees, by far, are the favorites to come out of the American League, despite the fact that they're 3 games back of the Rays. Heck, they've got the Mariners with better odds going to the World Series than the Rays. Nobody seems to respect the Rays. I think they should be respected, but not to the point where I got to fear them or they should stand in my way of going to the World Series. And if the Rays stand in the way of the Yankees winning the World Series with 1/3 of the Yankees' payroll, how does everybody come back and sing Kumbaya? How? Let's go to Moose in Jamaica. Always good to talk to Moose. How are you, buddy?
Doing well, Don. Can you hear me?
Easily, yes.
Great, because I've been having problems with my AirPods. First things first, ditto to Grister. I echo everything he says in the chamber, but at the same time, entertain me in the nuance you're trying to provide, because I literally heard you for a minute in your diatribe explain the convolutions of options Cashman has, and I'd like to portray the predicament.
Okay.
Now, granted, a lot of Yankee fans like to see the Yankees go after De La Cruz, Pena, or Abrams, but the capital in terms of prospects that would cost. We're more likely to see the Adells, the Jeffers, the 3-something ERA, bullpen pieces that may be added on. But my whole thing was, from the offseason, I was trying to shout this out into the ether. Why don't you go after a Fernando Tatis, a Manny Machado, pick up Xander Bogaerts' contract, pick up a Corey Seager, proven postseason players that are going to hit in the postseason. My concern is obviously not the pitching. It's the hitting in the postseason. So regardless of what I'd like to see the Yankees do, what will happen, I'm going to sit in October, hope we don't lose games 3-1, and we have an outstanding pitching performance wasted, and we lose in the CS or the DS. Granted, what will and won't happen.
Big time contracts added to this team is not exactly the smartest thing to do on the eve of the CBA expiry. You talk about Fernando Tatis Jr. I mean, that'd be the old school Yankee move, right? Go out and get the best right fielder, a guy that can play shortstop, he could play second base. Padres are a small market team, probably looking to get out from under that contract. By the way, he signed through 2034 in the midst of a $340 million contract. And you don't know what the landscape of baseball is going to be this time next year. So the old days of just going out and getting, the Seagers, the Tatis Juniors, big guns on teams that are out of it or teams that are, a small market team. Do you really want to have that kind of a contract and all of a sudden Major League Baseball's got a salary cap? Then what do? You're already paying Cole. You're already paying Stanton. You're already paying Judge. You're already paying Fried. You're going to add another big contract? I mean, I don't know. Nobody knows what the landscape is going to be next year. Is there going to be a salary cap? Are you going to be able to grandfather certain contracts? Are you going to be able to buy out of contracts and it not affect the salary cap like they do in the NHL? Is it going to be a soft cap? Is it going to be a hard cap? Are you going to be able to sign your own players for whatever you want, and then it's going to be the players that you acquire in free agency that are capped? Is there going to be a salary cap at all? Or is there going to be some other system where you are going to be punished for having a high payroll or being over a certain luxury tax where you're not going to be able to spend international money or lose draft picks? Something that you may not care about, but I'm sure Brian Cashman's loath to do. Like, you just got to think differently now. You just can't spend like a drunken sailor and say, well, we're the Yankees. We can do whatever. I mean, the Dodgers may be paying the price for all the contracts that they have. But the difference is they might be riding 3 straight World Series championships into that abyss and not care. But the Yankees haven't won a championship since 2009, and if all of a sudden they just become a very ordinary team because their money doesn't mean anything anymore in the next CBA, then what good are all these contracts going to be? I just think that I know you don't want to think about the salary cap or the possibility of a salary cap, but it has to be on your mind, and it certainly has to be on Brian Cashman's mind when he makes deals. Let's go to Rich in Brooklyn. You're on ESPN New York. Hi, Rich.
Hey, Don. How are you?
Good.
Don, I understand the Yankees have to hit home runs. But if the people aren't there, don't you have to take what you're given?
Well, who
fundamentally?
Who on this team? Because let's have a conversation, Rich.
Okay, yeah, because I listen. I know baseball. I'm totally blind,
so.
and I listen to radio, and I listen to sports, and I know sports.
All right, so
Go ahead.
who in their everyday lineup right now doesn't consider themselves a home run hitter?
Don, that's not the point. That you've got to take them out there.
It is the point.
No, you put them out there at 2:00 in the afternoon, and you teach them.
I don't think a player at this stage of their career, on the verge of August, is all of a sudden going to become a bunter because they go out an hour before batting practice and practice bunting. Do you ever see them bunt? When they do attempt to bunt, you're lucky they don't get hurt. I'm with you. It should not be all about the home run. It shouldn't be all about launch angle. I get it. But unfortunately, that's the way they think you win games. I don't look at Jazz as a quintessential home run hitter. He does. He thought he was going to hit 50-50 this year. McMahon was a guy that was brought here because he was an A-plus defender, and when they acquired him from Colorado, had 20 home runs. They want you to hit home runs. Now, they've lost their best home run hitter, Aaron Judge. Now, Bellinger is on the shelf. So, yeah, one would think that, all right, we've just lost a ton of home runs in our lineup. Let's play small ball. But who's there to play small ball? What, Dominguez? Paid to hit home runs. Spencer Jones is here because the one thing he can do is hit home runs. Unfortunately, he can also strike out, but he can hit home runs. Goldschmidt, home runs. Wells, home runs. Rice, home runs. They're all trying to hit home runs. They're all asked to hit home runs. And now you want them to bunt? It doesn't work that way, man. Bring the Mets into the conversation. Quite the weekend for them, on and off the field. And plus, I've got to go after a friend at 4. It's Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. Don flying solo 6:30. Then it's Mets baseball right here on ESPN New York.
Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to cars4kids.org now or call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. This is Bart and Carlin on ESPN New York.
The Yankees, there should be no discussion about what the plan here should be. Just sitting and waiting on Aaron Judge, and I'm going to let his health dictate what I'm doing for the rest of the year. Nope. Take a lesson from the Knicks. They ended up in a position where you felt like in the playoffs, well, if we don't do it now, when are we going to do it? For the Yankees, it's right there for the taking.
Bart Scott, Chris Carlin, weekdays at 10 a.m. on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
It's summertime, so why are you still living with pain? If you're dealing with neck pain, back pain, joint pain, or nerve pain, don't wait any longer. Call Dr. Jay Shaw at Soundwell Pain. He's Ivy League trained, double board certified, no surgery, no long recovery, no relying on pain medication. Just non-surgical image-guided treatments that help you get your life back. With offices in Woodbridge, Livingston, and Inglewood, and most major insurances are accepted. Help is close. Go to SoundwellPain.com. Feel better this summer, not someday.
This is a special notice to U.S. taxpayers owing $10,000 or more to the IRS.
Tax Relief Advocates is urgently notifying taxpayers that tax relief initiatives are now available that may significantly reduce or eliminate what you owe. If you're afraid of an IRS lien, levy, or wage garnishment, don't lose hope. You can now take advantage of these current relief programs to end all collections, reduce the amount you owe, and resolve your tax problem. Even if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are already in a payment plan, you may still qualify for significant relief. Struggling taxpayers can now get relief they need during these hard economic times. A hotline has been established by Tax Relief Advocates for you to call and see what you qualify for. They are A+ rated with the BBB and have over 1,000 5-star reviews. Don't wait. Call 800-575-9087, 800-575-9087. That's 800-575-9087, or simply visit TRA.com.
This is the Michael K. Show.
Here's the one thing I think is the conundrum for Brian Cashman. If Judge doesn't come back, now doctors reportedly are telling them that he is going to come back. When that's going to be, anybody's guess. But if Judge doesn't come back, by making trades and using collateral to get players back to fill holes, are you throwing good money after bad? I think they can make the playoffs without Judge. I don't think they can win a championship without Judge.
The Michael K. Show, weekdays at 1 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube. Presented by the Parisman Firm.
Drip Drop is doctor-developed, proven fast hydration that helps your body and mind work better. Trusted by firefighters, medical professionals, and over 90% of top college and pro sports teams. Drip Drop is engineered to hydrate faster and more effectively than water alone, with 3 times the electrolytes of leading sports drinks. Stock up now at dripdrop.com and use promo code RADIO20 for 20% off your first order. That's dripdrop.com, promo code RADIO20.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You push yourself in everything you do, scanning headlines for insights, keeping an eye on the market. Robinhood puts you in control of your money, all on one platform. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move.
Congratulations, New York. The Knicks did it. Through battle after battle, they dominated to become this year's NBA champions. Day in and day out, the hard work paid off, and you were there every step of the way. Enjoy the crown. Own it, because this year is your year. A part of your legacy that will never be forgotten. So celebrate this moment, show your pride, and shop the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
The New York Red Bulls take on the Orlando City SC on Saturday, August 1st at Sports Illustrated Stadium with kickoff set for 7:30 p.m. Celebrate Hometown Heroes Night with Red Bulls New York and be among the first 10,000 fans for an exclusive beach towel giveaway. For your chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets, enter now at ESPNNewYork.com or through the ESPN New York app. Don't miss Julian Hall and Antoine Griezmann when the Red Bulls host Orlando City SC Saturday, August 1st. Secure your seats at NewYorkRedBulls.com. Back to the busy phones, 1-800-919-3776. And let's talk to George, who's in Elizabeth. You're on ESPN New York. What's up, George?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good,
Thanks for taking my call. I really appreciate that, Don. Listen, I just have a question, man. As a casual baseball fan, I'm no hardcore baseball fan. I'm a basketball fan, football fan. But, you know, I grew up in the New York, New Jersey area. I've always seen the Yankees and the Mets in the playoffs and whatnot. And I was just wondering, unless you're the Mets, the Yankees, or the Dodgers, why, as a fan, wouldn't you root for a hard salary cap to give everybody a shot? You know, you guys talk like it's so automatic that the Yankees go all the time, that the Dodgers go all the time. And I think people get tired of seeing the same World Series every 2-3 years. Look at the Knicks. We waited 53 years because of bad management to win a championship. You know, we haven't had a straight championship in the NBA, 2 back-to-back winners in 8 years. That's fantastic for all the fans. And I was just wondering your take on it, whether you're in favor of a cap or not, and why, because I just don't understand how the fans are not screaming for a salary cap.
Well, the fans aren't screaming for a salary cap in New York because the Yankees have the 3rd highest payroll and the Mets have the 2nd highest payroll, and they want that to continue, and they don't want that to change. But, George, I'm with you. I want a team to be successful or to fail based on their abilities to manage a winning program. Not because I happen to have $100 million more than you. I mean, if you and I are going to get into a race and you have a trainer and you have the best sneakers and you've got a coach and I just walk off the street and you beat me, you're supposed to beat me. You're supposed to beat me if you have $100 million more.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the thing that bothers me, George, and the players will fight, and they should. I mean, all the players fight against the salary cap, and some cave, and in baseball's case, they haven't caved. But hasn't football thrived with a salary cap?
Absolutely.
Doesn't Patrick Mahomes still make $60 million a year in the NBA? Didn't LeBron James still make an absolute fortune? The players are afraid, well, there won't be any more Juan Sotos and there won't be any more Aaron Judges. There still will be. There's guys that make an absolute fortune in the NBA, in the NFL, because their sports make a fortune. And baseball, what you do with a salary cap is you make the players the partners. They also have a piece of the pie. And the more money baseball makes, the more the cap goes up and the more players can make. And the short-sightedness from the players, in my opinion, is instead of looking at the top half being affected, how about the bottom half of baseball being affected? That the teams that are trying to get away with a $75 million payroll won't be able to do that anymore because with a cap, they'll have a floor. So the Marlins of the world might have to spend $50 million more than they are now because they're going to have to get to the floor, which means that's more money for players to make on other teams, not just the same 4 or 5 teams every year. The end argument for me, the drop the mic moment for me, why baseball should have a salary cap, is the other 3 major sports have it and have thrived. And in the case of basketball and football that generate a lot of revenue because of their television contracts, there are still players making $50, $60, in some cases in the NBA, $70 million a year. So the big-time players in baseball will still have an avenue to make their money. But maybe there'll be an avenue for other lesser players to make money because they'll have more options because there'll be teams that will be spending more money instead of these poor teams that are crying poverty and using the luxury tax money to spend on other places besides the players. If hockey can thrive, if basketball could thrive, if football could thrive with a salary cap, what is the difference with baseball? That would be my argument. But baseball has more games. Baseball also has more chances for owners to make revenue. But, unfortunately, you're hearing stories about all these local baseball entities, the regional networks being taken over by Major League Baseball because they're not able to make any money. There's got to be a way to be able to stop the Los Angeles Dodgers spending $100 million more than everybody else. And the reason why I think there's a chance there could be a salary cap is there's a team like the New York Yankees who are saying, wait a minute, we make a lot of money, but we can't spend $400 million on a payroll. And maybe we could, but that would mean less money for us, less money for our shareholders, which means we'd have to raise ticket prices to make up for it, and then the fans complain. What makes baseball different than the other sports that have been able to make it work? That would be my argument, but we'll see. Baseball's union's a lot stronger than the other unions in sports. Marvin Miller, the godfather of the baseball union, is someone that has built up a very, very strong union that does not cave. Hockey, football, basketball caved. Baseball never caved. They canceled the World Series in '94. They don't cave. Hockey had to cancel an entire season to get the players to finally cave. Will baseball do that? But I am in favor of a salary cap. Always a pleasure to talk to Richard in Manhattan. How are you, sir?
Hi, Don. Don, when Soto got to the Yankees,
yes,
or the Judge was his cushion.
Yes.
So he didn't have to do much heavy lifting with the press and all of that. It is parallel to when Dave Winfield got to the Yankees in '81. Reggie was there. Reggie did all the heavy lifting that one year that he was with Winfield, and Winfield excelled. Now, after Reggie left, George said it was his biggest mistake he's ever made. Winfield was probably the man, but he had a lot of cushion there. He had Mattingly, Don Baylor, Ricky Henderson, Ken Griffey, but he was the guy ever since the World Series when he was Mr. October that took the brunt of the hit. Reggie wasn't there anymore, so that was tough for him. Okay, that's how I feel about Soto now being with the Mets. He's taking all the hits from everything, from the press. Now, Don, I have a two-part question for you. Let's see what kind of answer you give me. I think it's going to be very difficult for you to give an answer. Who had a better career, Carlos Beltran as a Met or Dave Winfield as a Yankee? And the second part of that question, who was greater in total career-wise, Dave Winfield or Juan Soto? I'm sorry, Dave Winfield
or Carlos Beltran.
Or Carlos Beltran.
It's such a good question. I think that Winfield was unfairly criticized by his own owner because of the fact that he didn't win. But he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 100 RBI seasons. He led the league in RBIs in 79 with the Padres, came to the Yankees, and he continued to excel. I think, listen, Beltran was probably a better all-around player. Winfield predominantly spent a lot of time as a DH. I think Winfield was probably better.
Better overall. What? Better Yankee or better all-around from total? Or both?
Well, overall, because he compiled as much as he did.
From start to finish.
I think Winfield was the better player. But Beltran
okay, now who was better in New York? Who was better in New York?
I still think Winfield was better. I think he had more 100
Well,
RBI
here's
seasons.
where I'd argue against that.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, I'm not arguing, but I'm thinking. Beltran was depended on to be the man on the Mets. Winfield, Dave had a lot of help. He had, like I mentioned, Baylor, Griffey, Henderson, Mattingly. Who did Beltran have?
Well, he had David Wright for a good portion of that time. Or was he? Listen, he was the captain of the team. He had, he had Jose Reyes on that team. But you're right. He was the better player. But there was a couple of injury-plagued seasons in 2009. He only played 81 games. Only played 64 games in 2010. And he also didn't spend as much time with the Mets as Winfield had spent with the Yankees. So I would say Winfield was the better player, and he was the better New York player. But all anybody ever remembers is the fact that Steinbrenner went after him because they lost the World Series in 81, never won, called him Mr. May. So it's hard for people to appreciate you when your own owner's ripping you. But Dave Winfield was a tremendous player. Tremendous. Now, the Soto thing, and I would have gotten the back and forth with Richard, but you guys know going back and forth with Richard is pretty much impossible. What are we complaining about Soto for? Like we said, the problem with Soto is there's no problem with Soto. He had a great year last year, and he's had a good year this year. He's hurt. He's on the IL with a calf, but he's hitting 283. He's got 21 home runs. I mean, this is a guy that, if healthy, is going to hit 40 home runs, bat over 280, drive at 100 runs. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Juan Soto. There's plenty wrong with the Mets. He had a good year last year. He's not the reason they only won 83 games, and he's certainly not the reason they're one of the worst teams in baseball. I don't like him not getting along with Lindor, but as far as there being a problem with Juan Soto, I don't think there's any problem with Juan Soto. We're going to hear from Soto when we come back, and we're also, or I'm going to, because I'm the only one here, going to go after a friend. Stan, Hahn, and Rosenberg take up till 6:30. Then it's Mets baseball on ESPN New York.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
Horgavata Zona? Is that a word? In the 2026 Kia Sportage Turbo Hybrid, it might as well be, because it can be one road trip. It's all about turbocharged power and hybrid efficiency working together, so you get the thrill of quick acceleration and the satisfaction of fuel efficiency. Book a test drive and keep the adventure going. Kia, movement that inspires. Call 800-3334-KIA for details. Always drive safely.
When care matters most, experience matters more. The Allure Group is redefining rehabilitation and long-term care across New York with 6 convenient locations. Their expert clinicians create personalized care plans to help you recover, rebuild, and get back to what matters most. From short-term rehab to long-term care, Allure is committed to comfort, dignity, and results. To learn more, visit allurecare.com. The Allure Group, where care meets compassion.
There are a million reasons to love New York. Making your budget stretch isn't one of them. According to an independent study, Amazon prices average 14% lower than other retailers. Get food, fashion, furniture, and more shipped straight to your building. Plus, another study found Amazon Prescription Pass customers pay nearly 1/3 less out of pocket. Learn more at aboutamazon.com.
Progressive presents ways to save money that aren't bundling your home and auto insurance with Progressive.
Thanks again for taking me to the game, man. I can't wait to get in there. By the way, what's in the bag?
Oh, I bring my own hot dog and peanuts. Saves a ton.
Savvy. And what about the beach chairs?
Why buy seats when you can save big and bring your own?
We can't get in without tickets.
Tickets? What do you think the portable TV is for?
Don't save money pretending to go to the game. You could save hundreds by switching to Progressive. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Okay, all signed up. Easy. Now let's run payroll. What the? Hey girl, I'm you with more gusto. Nice. Who's that? New social media manager. Hired and onboarded with gusto. And spoiler, we're kind of famous now. Wait, we're famous? Oh, well, I'm famous. Payroll, benefits, and HR. Designed and built for small businesses. Choose a future with gusto.
880 ESPN, WHSQ, and WCBS-FM HD2, New York. A Good Karma Brands radio station.
Hey everybody, it's the Don Show. It never ends.
Those are facts.
The Don Show, starring only Don.
Good for me.
It's the Don Show, starting now.
Tweet that.
Hey, Don.
401 of the big city. It's the Don Show, also known as Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. But when you don't have Hahn and you don't have Peter and you just have Don, it's the Don Show. And make no mistake about it that open was made to make fun of me, because the Don Show was said pejoratively, because what Michael would bring up all the time is sometimes I would take over the meeting and I would start talking about different things like movies and music and all that. And listen, I sometimes get going, and Michael dubbed it the Don Show, that I'm sitting there, giving my top 100 movies or, talking about my weekend. And I think everybody in general enjoyed it. I don't think Michael did, because he always hates it when he's not the center of attention. And because everybody follows Michael because they think that they can actually better their position at the station by liking Michael and agreeing with Michael, that it ended up becoming something that I made fun of. But we made it work, and I'm fine with it, and we're having some fun here on a Monday. Peter will be back tomorrow. Alan will be back next Monday. Juan Soto spoke. If you haven't noticed, and judging by the ratings, you haven't, the Mets have really been struggling, lost 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers, and Juan Soto didn't play the last 2 games against the Dodgers because that calf is acting up again. He's got a strained calf, and Soto was asked, were you surprised about the MRI results?
I mean, we were expecting something, because I was definitely going through it a lot. I was in a lot of pain, but I was just keep pushing, and definitely when we got the MRI, we know I'm going to get some results.
Now, he did play on it, as he mentioned, and do you regret doing that?
No, I don't. I mean, I'm trying to go out there and have my team to win ball games, so whatever it takes. Sometimes it's tough. We were hoping that it goes the other way, that I got better and healthier and I could keep going, but it didn't.
Juan was asked about his future this season.
Do you expect to be back this season? Yeah, 100%.
All right, 100% that he'll be back this season. How confident are you in the team competing next season?
I mean, you just look at the roster. We have great players, You just got to stay healthy and try to play better baseball.
Well, he had me at everything up until that point. We have great players. They don't have great players. They shouldn't be 17, 18 games under 500 like they are. I guess they were 19 now. They won yesterday, so they're 18 games under 500. It's embarrassing. This team might lose 100 games. A team that was predicted to win north of 90 is going to lose close to 100 games and finish in last place. I heard Michael mention this, that the Marlins have lost 12 straight and are still ahead of the Mets. Well, Mets also had a, 11, 12-game losing streak of their own earlier this season, so it all kind of adds up. But that's the latest on Juan Soto. And there is this perception that Soto is not performing well. He's performing very well. I mean, could he perform better? Sure. And, he's had a calf issue, and now he's going to be on the IL for the next week or so. But he's still a guy that's on pace. He was on pace to, hit high 30s, low 40s in home runs, over 100 RBIs on a team that stinks. He is clearly the best player on this team. Now, it hasn't been the first 2 years that he thought or that anybody thought. Remember, without Juan Soto, this team went to Game 6 of the League Championship Series against the Dodgers. With Juan Soto, this will be back-to-back seasons in which they missed the playoffs. Not exactly moving in the right direction. But I wanted to get into it with Michael Kay. Michael said this on his show from Chicago earlier today about Juan Soto.
Do you think in a quiet moment, nobody around, no teammates, no media, no family, he's just sitting in his apartment or house, wherever he lives, staring at the ceiling, ruminating, if Soto doesn't rue the day that he made that decision? Because this is one of the great hitters that we will ever see. And he essentially took 2 years of his career and threw them away. There were a lot of teams that wanted him. Toronto wanted him. If he'd gone to Toronto, he would have gone to the World Series last year. Again, if he wanted to sign a shorter-term contract, could have gone to the Dodgers. They won the World Series. And obviously, it came down to the Mets against the Yankees, right? If he'd gone to the Yankees, they went to the playoffs last year. And in all likelihood, barring a complete implosion, they'll go to the playoffs again.
Now, I'm not speaking out of school because I confronted Michael with this during the break on his show, giving him a heads up that I was going to talk about this on my show, and that I asked him if he'd be able to join to retort. Now, he had a very short window to possibly do that, but he's on the bus going to the stadium from the team hotel, and they're stuck in traffic, and by the time he gets to the stadium, he's going to have work to do, so he will not be able to join us. Maybe he'll be able to join us tomorrow. It's not Gutless or Gutlers. Okay. He's unavailable.
Why?
I explained to you, Michael. You told me.
Okay.
You're stuck in traffic. Anyway, I'm defending Michael to himself, or to drop Michael.
I hate Don.
But maybe, I'm sure Peter would be excited about this. Maybe we'll have Michael join tomorrow to talk about this. Maybe there'll be a wider window for him to join. Anyway.
That's right, man.
So I did bring it up to him. What are you talking about, Michael? All we did is talk ad nauseum when we knew that Soto was going to be a free agent at the end of the 24 season, that he was going to go to the highest bidder, period. Had nothing to do with winning, had nothing to do with market, had nothing to do with who the manager was, had nothing to do who his teammates were going to be. It had everything to do with the last dollar. That's where he was going to sign. I thought we agreed to that, Michael. We were arm in arm on this. When everybody else was saying he's not going to leave the Yankees, he's not going to leave those bleacher creatures chanting his name. He loves the Yankees. He loves New York. He'll never go play for the Mets. He'll never go to L.A. and play for the Dodgers. He'll never go to Canada and play for Toronto. And we both said, Michael, bull. He's going to go to the highest bidder. If the Arizona Diamondbacks outbid everybody, he'd be a Diamondback. He didn't care about anything else but getting the mighty dollar. And we didn't criticize him for that. Best player in baseball, he deserves it. Let him go out and get what he needs to get. He'll play hard. He wants to win. But first and foremost, he wanted the most money. And why did you think we came up with that opinion? Was it because we knew Juan, that we talked to Juan, that we had intimate knowledge of Juan Soto's thinking? No. He hired Scott Boras. When you hire Scott Boras, you want the most money. Period. End of sentence. And we agreed on that. And we talked about that. Arm in arm. Walk right down the street. Thelma and Louise. Our hands clenched together as the Juan Soto vehicle went off the cliff. Just us. Everybody else talked about he won't leave the Yankees. He's not just about the money. He wants to win. He cares about his legacy. Michael and I holding hands high. No, he's going to go to the highest bidder. And now he's talking about he regrets going to the Mets, that he wishes he went to Toronto or L.A. or the Yankees. He didn't. Do you know why? Because the Mets offered more, and they gave the little extras he was looking for. The suite, his family to be treated special. He just wanted whatever team was going to sign him to do anything it took to get him. He did not want to say no. He wanted somebody to say yes. He wanted that organization, whoever's going to sign him, say, thank you, sir. May I have another? Thank you, sir. May I have another? That's what he wanted. That's what he felt like he earned. He could have stayed in Washington and make $400 million. He knew he could make more, so he left. He knew he wasn't going to make that in San Diego. Goes to the Yankees. If he wanted to win, you stay with the Yankees because the Yankees are always over 500. The Yankees are always in a position to win. The Dodgers were in a position to win. They were coming off a World Series championship. He lost to them. He knew the Dodgers. And it wasn't like, oh, it'll be Ohtani's team. I just think he cared about making top dollar. That's all he cared about. Toronto wasn't going to go there. The Dodgers weren't going to go with the years. The Yankees were not going to say, thank you, sir, may I have another. The Mets were. And he went to the Mets. So when I confronted Michael with this, Michael said, but he said he loved the Mets' future. He thought they had a better future. He was just saying that to deflect away from the fact that it was all about the money. Anybody that pays attention to Major League Baseball, especially a Scott Boras, who knows baseball very well, can tell you the Mets have been very inconsistent. I can tell you that. All you had to do is go to baseballreference.com. Only once in the history of the organization, or twice, did they go back-to-back to the playoffs. 99 and 2000, 15 and 16. 60 years of existence, only twice have they've gone back-to-back years. They've only gone to the playoffs 11 times. You just had to look it up. Anybody would tell you the Mets are inconsistent. Anybody could tell you that the Mets aren't a guarantee for anything. Why would anybody go to the Mets because they've got a brighter future? Stop it. They have no future because they have no past. He went because they paid more money. Michael, we agreed to this. For a whole year, we agreed, and now that he's not a Yankee, that he's a Met, you turncoat. You got to talk about, oh, well, he regrets going to the Mets. Oh, you know, you're buying into all the garbage you argued against, even at the beginning of the season. Well, first year, oh, he's very sullen playing for the New York Mets because they're not winning. He wasn't hitting. Since then, he's been hitting. Other than not getting along with Lindor, which obviously has a lot to do with things other than baseball, we don't know if he regrets anything because this is exactly what he wanted to do. He doesn't feel like he was lied to by Cohen. And he's not a bad player. He's having a great year. He played at an injured calf because he wants to play, and I think he wants to win. But he made it very clear to anybody that paid attention he was going to go to the highest bidder. So can we stop with, oh, he's regretting it? He had to know this was on the table. It's the Mets. You could have asked anybody. You could have bought a book. Ask your agent. Hell, They seem like they had a few. They sold me on the future. Now, the one thing that maybe he was duped on, like we all were, oh, Cohen's sitting on $23 billion, so you know they're going to spend money. But it hasn't been a lack of spending money. They got the second highest payroll in baseball, and they paid you everything that you wanted and then some. It's just that they hired a bad general manager, and hopefully one day they'll fire him. But if he regrets it, it's on him. He could have stayed with the Yankees and win. Could have went to the Dodgers and won. The Blue Jays, hey, listen, I don't know if anybody had them on their bingo card to go to the World Series last year, and now they're 10 games under 500. So let's stop with the Blue Jays. He was never going to Toronto because Toronto wasn't going to go there. But it's just how deceitful Michael Kay is that he agreed with me. We were together on the turncoat. And again, I'm not saying any of this stuff out of school because I said it to him. I might have left out turncoat when I was talking to him during the commercial break. But I offered him to come on because I was going to say all this to his face. But he can't. He's stuck in traffic. I understand. It's an open invitation. But here's the beauty of radio, Jacob, is that people don't realize how radio works. They think that because I didn't say it to his face, that it's not going to get back to him, that I'm just throwing it out there in a vacuum. Believe me, he's already gotten a tweet from somebody that said, Don called you a turncoat. So I know everything I'm saying to him, he's hearing. As a matter of fact, if I know Michael and he's stuck in traffic on the bus, he probably has the app and wanted to listen at 4 o'clock, because I told him I was going to do it at 4 o'clock, to find out exactly what I said. And don't worry if you missed it. I'm sure Michael's going to play some of this tomorrow during his show. And this is not performative, because if anybody listened to the K Show 2 years ago, tell me I'm wrong. Jacob, you were here. Anthony, you were here. Michael and I were in lockstep. When anybody called and said, he's not leaving the Yankees. He loves the Yankees. They love him in New York. He's never going to leave the Bronx. And what do we say? He'll go if somebody pays more. And now he regrets it when he went to the team that paid him more? I'm telling you. What's the worst team? What's the most embarrassing team in baseball other than that? The Marlins? If Huizinga still owned the team and they gave him one more year and one more dollar, he'd be a Marlin. Michael, we agreed. 20 years of doing 4 hours of radio every day, except for the summer of K, and except that the Yankees had a day game. But otherwise, we were always together. We trusted each other. And that was the one thing that I thought we'd go to the grave both agreeing. We could disagree on politics. We can disagree on how to do a radio show. We could disagree about a lot of different things that we can't even say on the air. But the one thing I thought we'd always be together on was that Soto was going to go to the highest bidder. And now, less than 2 years later, you're telling me that he regrets going to the Mets? And maybe you didn't say it, but you probably thought it. You stay with the Yankees. He got protection from Judge. He'd be going to the playoffs. He wouldn't be on a team that's 18 games under 500. That announced that they're going to have fireworks night every Friday just to get people in the building. Because for some reason, people still like fireworks. Despite the fact that you see them 15 times a year, you still will go schlep over to Citi Field every Friday that they're home, no matter how bad the team is, because they're going to be shooting fireworks outside the stadium. You can go to a Stop and Shop and buy fireworks, but you're going to go, pay $50 to park to go see fireworks every Friday at Citi Field. That he regrets it. When you know damn well he went to the highest bidder and would do it again. He could say he wants to win and he loved the Mets' future, and maybe there will be a time. Hey, listen, he can opt out, right? And maybe he'll opt out of his contract. And then he'll say something like, well, they weren't winning there anyway. But guarantee if he opts out, it'll be to make more money. And I'm not saying this. We said that a lot 2 years ago. I'm not saying that it's bad, that he's only about the money. But the easy indication that he was about the money is he hired Scott Boras. when you hire Scott Boras, it's not to win a trophy. It's to get the most money humanly possible. That was the indicator, and I'm sticking with it. 1-800-919-3776. A lot of people want to climb aboard on this. Jerry in South Hackensack, you're on ESPN New York. How are you, Jerry?
Hey, Don, thanks for taking the call.
Always.
I agree with you 1,000%. As a matter of fact, when you use the Marlin, however you want to call it, I used that on Michael's show when I called him up because I got sick of people saying, he wanted the suite. He took the most money. And I've got no problem with it, Don.
No, I don't either.
He put himself in a position, right? He put himself in a position to get the most money. God bless America. That's what America's about. Don't tell me it's about a suite or mom gets roses every time she walks in the shed. I don't want to hear it. It's about the money.
Well,
okay?
but the one thing I will disagree, Jerry, I do think that was also important to him because I think he wanted to be treated differently than everybody else. The Yankees, I don't think were going to give him a suite. That was an advantage the Mets had. There were allegations that it was told that he didn't like the way his family was treated with the Yankees. So I can't agree with you there. I do think the suite and the way the family was treated was important because he wanted to, part of the money. When we say all about the money, listen, he can live on what the Yankees were going to pay him, what the Dodgers were going to pay him, what the Blue Jays were going to pay him, okay? But it's a way they keep score. So when you say it's about the money, it's about the prestige of being the highest paid player. How you feel that you're being pursued in that way. So I do think the suite and the treatment of the family, not that the Yankees treated his family poorly, but they weren't giving the family things like a suite. The Yankees weren't going to go there. The Yankees had a line of demarcation they weren't willing to cross. That was unattractive to Soto. Soto wanted to know that the team was going to give whatever he wanted. So I disagree with that portion of it, but I do agree with the overall sentiment that it was about the money. Let's go to Tim in South Carolina. You're on ESPN New York. What's up, Tim?
Hey, Don. How are you today?
Good. Hanging in. I enjoy doing the show by myself once in a while.
It sounds that way. I 100% agree with you. We knew he was going for the most money, 100%. And, whether it was a suite or his family or this and that, we knew he was going for the most money. With that said, what did Michael say? Anthony, can I get the drop? Is that possible?
Which drop?
The drop of Michael saying that.
Well, what I just played before? About him regretting to go to the Mets?
No, just in a quiet moment.
Oh, yeah.
Would you think, I think that was his point. I think he's kind of over that. I mean, look, I wasn't happy. I'm a Yankee fan. I wasn't happy he left, but I understood it, But, if you're a great player like that, do you want to be playing baseball like this right now?
But you had to know. But you had to know, Tim, that by leaving the Yankees, there was a chance that whatever team you were going to land with, that this was a possibility. The Yankees, this was not a possibility.
100%.
They never have seasons like this, ever. The Yankees do not do this. They may not win a championship, but they're never going to embarrass themselves. He was willing to leave because there were things that were more important than that.
I know, and that was what was the biggest frustration with me when he came out with that fakakta line of, I think they have a brighter future than the Yankees.
I never believed it when he said it.
And I mean, we all did.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew what it was at the time. I mean, you guys talked about it on the show.
Yeah,
but I think Michael's point is just in a quiet moment, is it possible that he goes, oh, man, maybe I messed up?
No, see,
I get what you're saying about
I can't. Well, here's the deal, and listen, the reason I'm upset with Michael is if it was all about the money, then 2 years later, all right, he's having a good season. He played through a calf injury on a team that's losing. So I'm not saying that he's selfish, but what I'm saying is he's somebody that wants to be able to get his numbers. He was sullen when he first came to the Mets. They were winning, and he was sullen because he wasn't hitting. Juan Soto, if he's hitting and he's making his money, he'll find happiness. He's only in year 2 of a 15-year contract. As bad as the Mets are, they will have winning seasons. Like, they're not going to go the next 13 years of being under 500, but he had to know once he left the Yankees, this was a possibility. And all he had to do was look at the Mets' history. 60 years of Mets baseball, 11 times they made the playoffs. Only twice they made the playoffs in back-to-back years. So he had to know this was on the table and still took their money. And 2 years later, a year and a half later, in a quiet moment, he's staring at the ceiling, regretting his decision? Or is he upset that his calf is hurt and he's not able to go out there and perform? What makes more sense? 1-800-919-3776. I want to continue with these calls. We do have people on hold that have opinions on this. We do have the weekend recap, a couple of things I want to get to next, and then we'll get back to your phone calls. 6 o'clock, we got an Anthony Pusick letting it in. At 6:30, we got Mets-Braves baseball from Citi Field on ESPN New York.
Mornings with DiPietro and Rothenberg.
Do you know Sven?
I do. Yeah, Sven Butenschon.
Nice.
You know him? He was on my team. Yeah, Sven Butenschon. When was the last time you talked to Sven Butenschon? Not recently, but he was my buddy when we played here. So if you saw him walking down the street, you'd be like, Sven, it's me, Rick. Yes. Big hug. Really? Oh, yeah. You know what became of Sven?
DiPietro and Rothenberg. Morning 6 to 10 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
Hi, this is Don LaGreca. Just like the New Jersey Devils bring intensity on the ice, Viking Pest Control brings the same level of protection to your home. And I know because I use Viking at my own place. The season may be over, but pests are always in play. So it's time to lock in your off-season defense. As the pest control provider and proud partner of the Devils, Viking delivers 45 years of trusted experience to keep ants, cockroaches, stinging insects, rodents, mosquitoes, and more out of your zone. And when you bundle pest control mosquito services, you score big savings. One call, one company, total peace of mind. Visit VikingPest.com. Protecting your home inside and out.
Miller time. People think it just happens, but that's not true. You know what you gotta do? You gotta go say hello with some beers. Make the plans. Forget the couch. Go to that thing. Play the game. See them in person. Talk to that stranger. Live a little. Small acts of rebellion that bring us together. Because legendary moments start with a light. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2026 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Hey, it's Wendy here. Are you looking to rebound from your high-interest credit card debt? A SoFi personal loan could help. Consolidate your debt with a SoFi personal loan into one low monthly payment, and you could save money on interest over time. And with as soon as the same day funding, you could hit the ground running ASAP. Apply today with no fees required at SoFi.com/debt rebound. Loans originated by SoFi Bank. NA member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS 696891. Fast funds terms apply at SoFi.com/debt rebound.
I'm David Ortiz. When I lost my mom, she was only 46. And I lost my dad to cancer. It was the worst pain I ever felt. It made me think, what will happen with the people I love when my time is up? That's why I have life insurance. Ethos makes it easy. It's all online, take about 10 minutes, and you can get up to $3 million in coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game. Paid testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
And now let's take a look at the traffic with Brandy Scott.
Thanks so much, guys. Rough ride on the LI eastbound heading through Nassau County. We had some earlier heavy weather make its way through. Right lane blocked with flooding by Jericho Turnpike. Add that to the volume. You're backed up into Queens. Not moving much on the Whitestone Expressway northbound heading over to the Bronx-bound Whitestone Bridge. Crash in the left lane involving a tractor-trailer by the Cross Island. You're starting to back up to Northern Boulevard and City Field. Not an easy ride on the West Side Highway northbound heading over to the outbound George. Accident right before the ramps to the Cross Bronx. You're solid there from the 79th Street Boat Basin. Inbound George doing better, just about 10 to 15 for both the upper and lower decks from 80-95. Outbound Lincoln Orny about 20 to 30 minutes. Outbound Hahn about 15 to 20. This report is sponsored by RockAuto.com. A bent tire rod can quickly bring a drive to a halt. For the parts you need to get back on the road, visit RockAuto.com. Find a wide selection of quality parts at reliably low prices. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. Find the Children is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted car. Call 1-800-294-0222. You'll receive the maximum tax deduction, and we provide fast, free pickup. Call 1-800-294-0222. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Call 1-800-294-0222. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Time now for the weekend recap, and it's brought to you by Neutral. Well, here's my weekend recap. I'll give you two, but I'll start with what happened to me on Saturday. Now, you know I'm from Hawthorne, New Jersey, so if you know anything about Hawthorne, New Jersey, it's known for two things. One, it's where Deborah Harry grew up from Blondie, and the Hawthorne Caballeros. Hawthorne Caballeros were a big, big deal. Marching band, they played Giants Stadium for Jets and Giants games. They played Yankee Stadium. They've won tournaments all over the country. They're very, very well known. Well, they had a competition over in Mount Olive on Saturday, and that's where my sister-in-law's from. And so we went to see my wife's cousin, Norm. Norman is an alumni of Hawthorne Caballeros. And the current Hawthorne Caballeros were competing with teams around the region. There was a marching band from Kings Park, Connecticut, Princeton, Dover, and there was one from Reading that actually won the event. And then the Hawthorne Caballeros alumni, they perform after, and so we go there to support. And it's actually a fun time. I know it sounds kind of nerdy to watch marching bands, but if you get good ones and there's a bunch of people, and these kids really put on a nice performance, and it was a beautiful day, and they've got food and everything, so we went. I'm sitting next to a guy that is the doppelganger for Joe Judge, the former head coach of the New York Giants. I mean, to a T. Had his hat backwards, just the way he presented himself, everything. Not that I have that much of knowledge of Joe Judge, but, for the couple of years that he was here, I saw him. I wasn't thrilled with his performance by any stretch of the imagination, but he seemed like a nice enough guy. We interviewed him on the K Show. I saw him at Eli Manning's retirement, talked to him there. So I feel like I got to know him a little bit. I'm telling you, exactly. The whole time, it was like 2.5 hours, I'm sitting next to this guy. I'm like, this is Joe Judge. Joe Judge is the quarterback's coach at Ole Miss. His son's playing as quarterback at Ole Miss. So I'm like, it's late July. They probably are starting training camp. Why would he be in Mount Olive, New Jersey on a Saturday night watching marching bands? But I'm telling you, it looks just like him. I couldn't let it go. So when it was over and we're getting up to leave, I said, I'm sorry to bother you. You look so familiar to me. Is your name Joe? He goes, no, my name is Mike. And his son was in the Hawthorne Caballeros, and he was from Succossana, New Jersey. and we talked for a little bit, parted ways. Guys, I think he was lying. I think it was Joe Judge. Because if you're Joe Judge and you're in New Jersey, would you want to be recognized? Like, would you want people to know that you're Joe Judge after the 2 seasons he had as the Giants coach? Now, I think we're all over it now. They had a failed coach after that, and now we've got John Harbaugh, and we've moved on. We got Jackson Dart and all that, but was the taking the knee at the goal line against the Commanders that unforgettable that he's incognito in New Jersey? Now, he wasn't wearing sunglasses, and he wasn't trying to hide himself, but I ask you, Anthony Pusick, as a Giant fan, do you think that was Joe Judge and just didn't want to admit it because he didn't know which way it would go?
So I have more faith in you than this random man that looked like Joe Judge. I do believe that it was Joe Judge. The only thing that I am questioning is what he was doing at this event.
Well, that's a big thing to question, right?
I would think so, yeah.
But you don't know. Like, who knows why? That's one of the biggest things I get because I don't live in New York City. I don't live like that close to the city. I'm more in Central Jersey. So when I get recognized in Central Jersey, the first thing I get is, what are you doing down here? Like, it just doesn't seem conceivable that why would I be in Central Jersey when I work at a New York radio station? But not everybody lives, in New York City when they're working in New York City. But no, that's the difficult thing. Like, why would he be in Mount Olive, New Jersey, just like on the eve of training camp opening at Ole Miss? And the last I checked, Mississippi and Mount Olive, New Jersey, not close. But you never know, man, right? I mean, is it possible that he just knows somebody and he did have a free day and he did make a lot of money with the Giants, so hopping on a plane and checking something out, like, could he have had a relative in the Hawthorne Caballeros and figures, all right, I got the day off, I'll go visit some family. He's from Philadelphia, Anthony.
Yeah, we don't know if he necessarily sold his house.
But he could have, right. So he's from Philadelphia. He might have family there and figure, there's something going on in New Jersey. Now, Mount Olive's not close to Philadelphia, but it's a lot closer than Mississippi. I mean, listen, it probably wasn't him, but I'm telling you, if I had any more room on my phone, I would have talked to him long enough to say, hey, you want to take a picture? It would have been weird and creepy, but at least I'd have evidence.
It's a much better story if it is him, though.
But
and he lied about it.
But do you think he'd have to lie about it, though?
Listen, he was not the best with the media here.
No, he was not.
So I could say that he, in a moment, maybe I should just lie and say no, because who knows where this is going to go.
But he was so bad with the media that I think if it was actually Joe Judge, he might run instead of quickly saying, no, my name is Mike and I'm from Succassana. So I think it wasn't him, but I swear to God, it looked just like him. And it's not like Joe Judge has a common look.
No,
but anyway, that was very random. The other thing, everybody knows I killed off Sidney Poitier.
Unfortunate.
For those of you that do not remember, Jacob or Anthony, do the honors. And this was
Don, did you tweet rest in peace to Sidney Poitier?
Yeah, 92. He passed away.
That's his birthday today.
No, didn't. Turns 92. Dear God.
Now, that was genuine, shock reaction because I was convinced he died. Not just because I just can't read. That's my problem. That it was his birthday. He has since passed away, but at that moment. But I tweeted it out. 5 minutes later, Peter calls me out on the air about it. It's clarified. So everybody knows how much I love the 80s countdown and 80s on 8 on Sirius XM. And I especially love it when it's the early 80s. And this weekend, it was 1981. Next weekend, it's 1980. Whoa, I'm over the moon. So 81, right in my wheelhouse. Really good music because I love all that yacht rock and great stuff. So the number 2 song this week in 1981 was Betty Davis Eyes by Kim Carnes. You all, I'm sure, are very familiar with the song. It's one of the biggest songs of the 80s. And it's number 2. So if anybody that's not familiar with the 80s on 8 countdown is they take all the DJs on 80s on 8 are from MTV. So Alan Hunter, Mark Goodman, and they're the DJs that do it, and Nina Blackwood. Those are the three, and they alternate introducing the songs. So it was Alan chance to do it. Alan Hunter is the DJ that's going to announce the number 2 song. And he says, this song, it's sad to look back on since the recent passing of Kim Carnes. And I'm like, I didn't hear she died. So I look it up, and no, she's still alive. She's 81, but she's still alive. She's still with us. So I'm thinking maybe this is Friday night, the first time they air it. So I'm like, or maybe she did die just like within the last day, and they haven't updated it or whatever. Or it was just a mistake or whatever. They'll edit it out. They'll change it. They re-air it at 11 o'clock on Saturday. I happened to be in the car, listened. They didn't edit it out. Replayed it again at 5 o'clock on Saturday, still there. Replayed it twice on Sunday, still there. So he makes the mistake of saying Kim Carnes is dead, and it lives for the entire weekend. Nobody edited it out. There was no retraction. There are going to be people that actually think Kim Carnes died because it kept getting repeated over and over again. Mine got corrected in 5 minutes. I was embarrassed, but at least it got corrected, and I was able to go back and take down my post RIP for Sidney Poitier when it was actually his birthday. Odd. I wonder. I have it on my app. Will it ever be taken down? I think that's egregious.
You think someone should at some
Somebody
point? No,
should take it down.
Peter corrected you right away.
Right away, and you know what?
Dear God,
it was embarrassing, but I'm glad he did it. Because otherwise, my post would have been up there, and then if I didn't notice, then it might have been a whole weekend that was up. Now, who is it that died with total eclipse of the heart? She just died last. Bonnie Tyler. I think that's who he confused it with. Kind of around the same age, same genre of music. So maybe he confused Bonnie Tyler passing away with Kim Carnes. Okay, I can't read. He misremembers. Nobody went up there and corrected it. I wonder if anybody else had heard that. Or was there any kind of retraction? He's not on social media, Alan Hunter, so I don't know how he would have gotten that message out there. But I don't know. Kind of a quirky weekend for me. I confused somebody for Joe Judge. I call out Alan Hunter for killing off Kim Carnes. But maybe it was just a case of, hey, I want to feel better that I'm not the only one that kills off celebrities. That was your weekend recap brought to you by Neutral. Keep it tasty with Neutral Vodka Seltzer, made with real vodka and real fruit juice. Enjoy responsibly.
You don't know how close to right you are, Don.
What's that?
Because apparently Jacob has found out something that this may be closer to the Sidney Poitier story than you even realize.
Go ahead.
Kim Carnes, her birthday was July 20th. So he probably meant to say happy birthday and just,
no,
killed her off.
Oh, turns 92. Dear God.
Are we allowed to play any serious stuff?
Probably not. Probably not.
Because I want to be able to air it, just so people. Because you know what happened was the reason that I kept going back and listening is like, am I misunderstanding this? But yeah, maybe he saw the post that it was her birthday and assumed that maybe she was dead. Maybe that's a thing that people have.
Probably. Also, 2 weeks ago, she put out a Facebook post to remember Bonnie Tyler, so it could be also that too. So,
well, Alan, I can empathize with you, buddy, because I've done the same thing. We kill off celebrities. It's
Dear God.
1-800 now. Yeah, I wonder when somebody, like, did Nina Blackwood call him and did he go, oh, God? I wonder what his reaction was. Well, obviously, his reaction was to call somebody and edit out the replays because it stayed in there all weekend. All right, the Soto stuff, getting on Michael. People like to do that. 1-800-919-3776. Anthony Pusick is going to be handling ENN at 6, and then we're out of Dodge at 6:30 for Mets baseball on ESPN New York.
Nobody had any idea that Magic was going to die.
This is the Michael K. Show.
Here's the one thing I think is the conundrum for Brian Cashman. If Judge doesn't come back, now doctors reportedly are telling them that he is going to come back. When that's going to be, anybody's guess. But if Judge doesn't come back, by making trades and using collateral to get players back to fill holes, are you throwing good money after bad? I think they could make the playoffs without Judge. I don't think they could win a championship without Judge.
The Michael K. Show, weekdays at 1 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube. Presented by the Parisman Firm.
There you were, surrounded by fans. Everybody remembers the game. Nobody remembers the guy coughing behind you. Till a few days later, at 2 a.m., you wake up with a fever and your throat's on fire. Now what? Urgent care? Closed. ER? Slammed. Telehealth? Maybe, but the pharmacy's closed. You needed a medical emergency kit. These aren't first aid kits. They contain essential prescriptions used for over 30 common conditions. Sinus and ear infection, UTIs, stomach bugs, traveler's diarrhea, and more on hand before you need them. Use your doctor-developed guidebook to select the right prescription or call their telemedicine doctor standing by. It's like an urgent care and drugstore at home. When you're sick, traveling, or stranded, you'll wish you'd ordered a medical emergency kit. Order online in minutes and it's shipped to your door. And save $45 with my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880. That's promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
This is Bart and Carlin on ESPN New York.
The Yankees, there should be no discussion about what the plan here should be. Just sitting and waiting on Aaron Judge, and I'm going to let his health dictate what I'm doing for the rest of the year. Nope. Take a lesson from the Knicks. They ended up in a position where you felt like in the playoffs, well, if we don't do it now, when are we going to do it? For the Yankees, it's right there for the taking.
Bart Scott, Chris Carlin, weekdays at 10 a.m. on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Okay, girls, ready to go?
Yeah! Mom, I'm hungry. Can I have a snack? Me too, Mommy.
You want a snack?
Yeah!
Got it?
Children learn from our behaviors.
Mommy, can you open this,
All right, hold on 1 second. Okay. Okay, here.
Thank you.
They learn what is okay from the adults they see.
Mommy, are you on your phone?
If you're a distracted driver, chances are they will be too. What kind of driver are you raising? Funded by the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee.
The summer of soccer is heating up with Red Bull New York. Join the Red Bulls on Saturday, August 1st as they take on Orlando City SC at Sports Illustrated Stadium. It's Hometown Heroes Night, celebrating the first responders, community leaders, and everyday heroes who make a difference across our communities. Kickoff is at 7:30 p.m., but the fun starts at 4 p.m. on the Boulevard with 3 hours of pregame entertainment. Get your tickets today at NewYorkRedBulls.com.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You push yourself in everything you do, scanning headlines for insights, keeping an eye on the market. Robinhood puts you in control of your money, all on one platform. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. Find the Children is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted car. Call 1-800-294-0222. You'll receive the maximum tax deduction and we provide fast, free pickup. Call 1-800-294-0222. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Call 1-800-294-0222. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
This is the Michael K. Show.
Here's the one thing I think is the conundrum for Brian Cashman. If Judge doesn't come back, now doctors reportedly are telling them that he is going to come back. When that's going to be, anybody's guess. But if Judge doesn't come back, by making trades and using collateral to get players back to fill holes, are you throwing good money after bad? I think they can make the playoffs without Judge. I don't think they can win a championship without Judge.
The Michael K. Show, weekdays at 1 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube. Presented by the Parisman Firm.
Those of you who didn't know what I was talking about when I said Betty Davis eyes, The second you hear that, you know what the heck I'm talking about because everybody in the world's heard that song. It's hard to believe that that song is 45 years old, but it is. And Kim Carnes, as of this hour, is still with us. 1-800-919-3776. Back to the busy phones. By the way, Bob Wischusen will join us at 5:30. Talk a little Jets and just general hijinks. It's always fun to talk to Bob. And then at 6 o'clock, Anthony Pusick is going to handle ENN. Jonathan is in L.A. You're on ESPN New York. Hi, guys.
Hi, Don.
How are you?
We love the Don show. The vehicle only Don. We love Don. We gotta love Don. We love the only Don show. Donnie, I think Michael meant that if he regrets that decision, Juan Soto regrets that decision. I know we all know he was gonna go to the highest bidder, which he did. But now, does he regret going for the highest bidder? Example, when I was a teenager, 20 years old, I had a good job for 2 years, a sort of good job. But then I got offered a job that I was getting paid a bit more. I went to that job. And what happened 2 weeks later? I quit and I went back to my old job because, I was like, it wasn't the same. Even though it was for more money, it wasn't the same. So I think that's what Michael meant, regarding the money, putting everything to the side. Does he sit back and sometimes regret that decision?
Well, let me ask you this, Jonathan, because I think this is the crux of the argument. Let's say 2 years ago, the Chicago White Sox offered way more money than anybody else. Would he have said no? Well, I know the White Sox are in first place right now, but White Sox had a 120-loss season. They awful. Won championships since 1917. Would he have said no? Because you guys never win, or would he have taken the money?
No, I think he would have still taken the money. I think it's a natural thing. If you ask anyone, if you offer that amount of money or whatever, a big amount of money for whatever compared to whatever you win, of course you're going to say yes. But then eventually you're going to regret that. I mean, I'm not just saying it just because it's the Mets. No, it's not. But I think he's starting to regret it, especially now because you got players like Bryce Harper and Mookie Betts talking about the team, and then there's drama in the team and all that. It could be whichever team, but I think he's looking back and like, oh my God, I should have just kind of stayed where I was at. It was kind of in the same figures, but that's what I think.
Well, listen, you might be right, and Michael might be right, but I just think after a year and a half, it's been a tough season. I get it, but when you're going to go to the highest bidder, and a year and a half later you're regretting it, he had to know. If I leave the Yankees and I go anywhere else, there's the potential of a bottom-out season. Look what happened to the Diamondbacks after they went to the World Series. Look at the Blue Jays go to the World Series. They're under 500. San Francisco Giants won 3 championships in 6 years. Where have they been since? They've been one of the worst teams in baseball. Look at Kansas City, back-to-back World Series a decade ago. Where are they right now? Texas Rangers. I understand they're in first place, but they're only 2 games above 500. They're 2 years removed from a championship. Didn't make the playoffs last year. May not make the playoffs this year. Seattle, same thing. They're one of the best teams in baseball last year. They may not make the playoffs this year. Everywhere there's inconsistency, except 2 teams, the Dodgers and the Yankees. And he said no to both. And I'll take the Dodgers out of the equation because they weren't offering as many years. He knew that if he stayed with the Yankees, they had just come off a World Series, that I am going to be in contention every single year. How do I know this? Because they've been in contention for 30 straight years. I'm going to the Mets. Yes, they have a new owner. But under that owner, they haven't won anything. 11 playoff appearances in 60 years. And now, a year and a half later, well, I regret that. Now, the one caveat to this, and I'll bring this up with Michael if you have him on tomorrow, is his regret listening to Scott Boras. Because I think sometimes these players forget that the agent works for them, not the other way around. And I think sometimes these agents lead these players by their nose, and they just don't think. I'm going to make the most money. I have an obligation because of the kind of player I am to take the highest money so that the next guy can do the same thing. Let's think about the future with these players. If I start taking discounts, then other teams are going to offer discounts to other players. Scott Boras would have never let Judge take less money to stay with the Yankees. Boras would have had him go to the San Francisco Giants for 1 penny more just because that's what Boris does. So is there a regret being led by your nose by Boris? Possible. But don't all of a sudden now he's found religion. 18 months later, he's found religion when all he wanted was top dollar. And he had a team that could offer him winning every single year or close to it. And he left. And 18 months later, he now regrets it? No way. Let's go to Joe in Putnam Valley. You're on ESPN New York.
Hey, Don. Thanks for taking my call today.
Always.
Yeah, so I just want to come at it from a little different angle that I haven't heard discussed before. And I apologize because you won't be able to watch the video in real time while we're talking. But because I'm a diehard Yankees fan, love the Yankees. Juan Soto's a beast. And he already won a title, right? He came to the Yankees. They hadn't been to the World Series in 15 years. Right, he has a great postseason, and he hits probably one of the more, if they had gone on to win the World Series, one of the more epic home runs in Game 5.
Yeah, against the Guardians.
So everyone's been talking about, and everyone's been talking about money right now. I'm going to go slightly different. I'm going to go a little bit ego, right, because he's an alpha. He's an alpha baseball player, right? He's an alpha athlete. So he does all this. He actually caught the last game, the last fly ball, like the last out of Game 5, and was so excited to get on that podium in that post-game show, right? And they didn't even ask him a question. Like, they talked to Judge because he's the captain, and they talked to Stanton because he had a monster postseason and he was the MVP. They never even asked Juan Soto a question on that post-game show. I don't know if you remember that, but again, I remember it clearly. I remember thinking in that exact moment that, wow, this guy's probably sitting there thinking, I just hit one of the biggest hits in Yankees history. And they didn't even ask me a question. So I think it's a little bit – I think he might have chose the Mets. Apples, the offers weren't that far apart. But maybe he just was like, I might have always thought I might be in the shadow of Judge, but now, even they didn't even ask me a question even after Stanton. Maybe I should go to my own team and build my own thing with the Mets.
Maybe.
That's just my take.
Listen, you may not be wrong, but here's what I would say, Joe, to that. He signed a 15-year contract. If he signed a 15-year contract with the Yankees, matter of fact, you even heard rumors that he would have signed a 16-year contract. It just wouldn't have been for the same money. Wouldn't have been for the same AVV. Or AAV, I forget what it is. He would have outlived Judge and Stan. Certainly Stan. I mean, there would have been 8-9 years of that contract where he's the man. In his prime. Because, how many years is Judge going to be Judge? 2, 3? Stanton, he may not play again this year. Who knows what Stanton's future is? So by year 4 of that contract, with 11 years left on his contract, he's the man. He would have been the man on a team that always wins. And he's the man now. Is it not good because the team's losing? But he's the man now. He was the man last year. They didn't go to the playoffs, but they won 83 games. They were in the race. So if it's all about the ego of being the man, he's certainly that. But he would have been the man with the Yankees if he just waited a few years after Judge and Stanton are gone. He would have been the best player on that team for a decade. All right, more on this. Bob Wischusen is going to join us coming up at 5:30, ENN at 6. And then at 6:30, it's Mets Braves. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg, ESPN New York.
When care matters most, experience matters more. The Allure Group is redefining rehabilitation and long-term care across New York with 6 convenient locations. Their expert clinicians create personalized care plans to help you recover, rebuild, and get back to what matters most. From short-term rehab to long-term care, Allure is committed to comfort, dignity, and results. To learn more, visit allurecare.com. The Allure Group, where care meets compassion.
Fans, arrive early at Yankee Stadium on Saturday, August 8th for the 78th Annual Old Timers Day presented by Fresh Direct. See Yankees legends put on the pinstripes again and take the field at Yankee Stadium. Relive memories of your favorite former Yankees and make new memories with your family. After the Old Timers Day ceremony and game conclude, stick around to see your Bronx Bombers take on Atlanta. Get your Saturday, August 8th Old Timers Day tickets presented by Fresh Direct at Yankees.com/tickets today.
Monkey Sports, built by players for players, is your one-stop shop for hockey, baseball, lacrosse, and more.
Find top-name equipment and expert in-store services like sharpening, break-ins, and relacing. Shop in-store at Monkey Sports in Farmingdale or Woodbridge or online for all the top brands. Whatever your sports, Monkey Sports gets you game ready fast. Monkey Sports, where athletes shop.
When you manage an active facility, disruption is not an option. Tricon Construction specializes in healthcare, commercial, and industrial environments where work needs to happen without shutting operations down. That takes detailed planning, clear communication, and safe, disciplined execution. Because when patients are inside, tenants are working, or production has to keep moving, every decision matters. Tricon understands how to work around your business professionally, safely, and efficiently. For complex work inside active facilities, choose Tricon Construction. Visit triconbuilds.com. That's triconbuilds.com.
And now let's take a look at the traffic with Brandy Scott.
Thanks so much, guys. We've got the Mets home tonight over at Citi Field. Also a Carlos Beltran jersey giveaway. If you're getting a jump start at the Whitestone Bridge into Queens, just a little bit heavy from the Bronx side. Northbound Whitestone Expressway, we still have this crash right before the Bronx-bound Whitestone Bridge. Left lane out by the cross island involves a tractor-trailer. Delays there go back to Northern Boulevard in the stadium. Heading over to the outbound George, definitely the worst of it. West Side Highway northbound. Still have this collision right before the ramps to the Cross Bronx. Right lane is out. You're solid from the 79th Street Boat Basin. Inbound George, no issues at all. Looking good for both the upper and lower decks. Outbound Lincoln and Holland Tunnels, not too bad. Just about 15 to 20 minutes each. This report is sponsored by RockAuto.com. A bent tire rod can quickly bring a drive to a halt. For the parts needed to get back on the road, visit RockAuto.com. Find a wide selection of quality parts at reliably low prices. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
Harry Douglas here to tell you about Fruity Rainbow 5-Hour Energy Shots. It's a fruity candy flavor explosion, and I mean explosion. Fruity Rainbow 5-Hour Energy Shots, a zero-sugar treat that's sweet tooth approved. These can take care of my candy cravings and provides a tasty caffeine kick without all the sugar. Fruity Rainbow 5-Hour Energy Shots. Get candy-flavored chaos with Fruity Rainbow 5-Hour Energy Shots, available online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon.
If Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea was your best friend, it would be the kind of friend that starts an impromptu dance party in the supermarket aisle that turns into an all-day pool party rager at your place, and you don't even own a pool. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea turns any day into a legendary adventure. It's smooth and refreshing real iced tea with just the right kick of alcohol. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Congratulations to the New York Knicks. They are the 2026 NBA champions. WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
501 to the big city. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg until 6:30. Then it's Mets and Braves at Citi Field. Looks like the weather is going to hold up. Allen, second week of vacation. He'll be back on Monday. Peter off today, back tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So I'm flying solo. Hopefully I'm doing Allen and Peter proud. Buster Olney was on Sports Center just a mere couple of hours ago. Latest on the Yankees' deadline plans.
They were urgent before this injury, and they're urgent after the injury. The priority for the Yankees really is a major bullpen piece, which is why they've been connected with Mason Miller, the Padres, if the Padres decide to sell that closer. But they'll also be adding a hitter, and it's specifically a right-handed hitter. A lot of people in the industry wonder if at some point the Minnesota Twins might trade a catcher, Ryan Jeffers. He would be a perfect fit for the Yankees and what they need. And now, with Bellinger out, Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge, at least probably till mid to late August, maybe even early September, the Yankees need help.
Now, here's the problem with all of this. Nothing with Buster. Buster's great. And I believe Buster will be on with the boys in the morning tomorrow. So you can get even more detail, and we'll be a day closer to the deadline, which is August 3rd. I believe at 3 p.m. Eastern. Jeffers is on Minnesota. Minnesota's a game out of the wild card. The American League is a mess. But nobody is kicking aside a chance to go to the postseason. Minnesota's won a couple of games in a row here. They've got Kansas City coming up this week. Got a chance to win 2 or 3 more in a row. Maybe find themselves in the playoffs. Why are they trading a piece? All these teams are thinking the way the Yankees are. Hey, it's wide open. Maybe we get in. Now, I don't think Minnesota's making a run, but I don't think the Twins are in any kind of position to spit on a chance to go to the playoffs. Now, Mason Miller is interesting because he's the best closer in baseball right now. Bednar could be your setup guy. You're golden if you're the Yankees. The Padres are 2 games out of a playoff spot. Now, the problem with the Padres is they got to climb over the Cardinals, the Nationals, and the Pirates to get to the Diamondbacks, who have the last wild card spot. Not impossible. The Padres got Colorado this week, and the Padres have just won 3 in a row. Now, the reason I talk about the teams you're playing this week is with the deadline being a week away, all of a sudden San Diego wins 3 straight. They're home against Colorado. And now you got a 6-game winning streak. You pick up a couple of games. Why are you trading your closer when you got a chance to make the playoffs? Well, Don, why would the Padres care about being a sacrificial lamb getting bounced in the first round? Well, I don't know who they're going to play in the wild card. It could be the Diamondbacks, could be the Phillies, could be the Cubs. But, again, why are you throwing away a chance to go to the playoffs? You're telling me there's no chance that the Padres can beat the Diamondbacks in the playoffs? And now all of a sudden you're in the divisional round. And maybe you're hooked up with Milwaukee. Well, Milwaukee's not known for making runs. They lose in the playoffs all the time. And all of a sudden the Padres are in the league championship series against the Dodgers. They're not spitting on that either. The problem the Yankees have with trying to make trades, there's not a lot out there. You know, we opened the show, the catcher for the A's, Langoliers, he's got a meniscus problem. He's on the IL. He might not be able to come back this year. Hunter Goodman of Colorado, Rockies aren't going anywhere. He's a good offensive catcher, solves their problems. But I heard Michael talk about on his show that the Yankees despise poor defensive catchers. Well, guess what? He's a poor defensive catcher. So there's not a ton out there, partially because of the fact that so many teams are still alive. This is what's wrong with the third wild card, too. And even the second one. The Miami Marlins have lost 12 straight games. You know how many games they're out of the wild card? 3. So the Reds are 5 back. Giants, Mets, Rockies are all double digits out. So you figure, all right, Giants, Mets, Rockies, definitely sellers. Angels, A's, Royals, probably the Blue Jays are a 10 under. You know, you're only talking about a handful of teams. Only a small percentage of those teams have exactly what you want. Houston's no good. They're 3 games under 500. They're 2 games out of a playoff spot. And the Astros never sell. Their owner says, I'll never be a seller. Well, if they're only a couple of games out of a wild card spot next week, they're not going to sell. They're hoping they stumble into a playoff spot. None of these teams are any good. The only teams that are good, and I'll believe it when I see it with the White Sox, are the Rays and the Yankees. And the Red Sox, you got to give consideration because they just came off a 15-game winning streak, but they're only 4 games over 500. The Yankees are 13 over, and the Rays are 19 over. So those are the 2 teams that they're good. And as far as run differentials are concerned, Yankees plus 84, White Sox plus 46 with the Red Sox, and the Rays are plus 42. Everybody else, the Tigers are plus 28. They're 3.5 out. I'm not sure they're going to be able to make a run. They might be a seller. They've got Baltimore coming up this week, too. There's not a ton to do. And the Yankees may believe, and they wouldn't be wrong to think this, as presently constituted, they're definitely going to the playoffs. And who are they scared of? You can make the case, even without Aaron Judge, and they're going to get Bellinger back. That's who Buster was talking about missing because of the injuries. Bellinger got injured over the weekend. So Bellinger's going to come back. Even without Stanton and without Judge, the New York Yankees are still going to be the favorite against every team they face in the postseason until they get to the World Series. So as much as you want to kill Brian Cashman because you think he should be all in, is it that ridiculous to think he does nothing and still believe they can go to the World Series? Now, if you want to tell me you want to make a move so you're in competition to beat the Dodgers or whoever comes out of the National League, but is there anybody that's going to do that? Other than getting Judge back, getting Bellinger back, getting Rodon back, and keeping everybody healthy like Cole and Fried. So the Yankees will make moves. They're not going to just be bereft of any move next week, but are they going to get a needle mover? Is there a needle mover? Not sure. In fact, no, I am sure. There isn't. 1-800-919-3776. Let's get back to the busy phones and talk to Tony in Middletown. You're on ESPN New York. What's up, Tony?
Hey, well, first off, you were talking about entertainment, and I have to say there are two entertainment personalities that intimidate me. One is James Evans from Good Times, and the second is you. I've never met you, but you just seem like a tough, intimidating guy. So
wow, no, I'm the nicest guy going. Ask the guy I thought looked like Joe Judge. I was a gem.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to get that in. But just regarding what's his name, Soto, right?
Yeah.
I think at the time, I'm a Yankee fan. I just want to let you know. At the time, I think he really thought that the Mets were onto something. But the guy came in, Stearns came in and destroyed the whole thing. So again, at the time, the Mets were a little appealing and looked like they were on the come up. And the Yankees, we couldn't hit with them. I mean, it was him hitting and Judge getting a hit, and everyone else was striking out. So he's probably like, the Mets are looking good. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Well, listen, Tony, I'm a Met fan, okay? And how could you think that the Mets were the better move at the moment than the Yankees, who went to Game 5 of the World Series? Now, the Mets had gone to Game 6 against the Dodgers, and both the Mets and Yankees had the same thing in common. Their season ended at the hands of the Dodgers that year. And I understand, Steve Cohen's got tons of money, but you just look at the history. The Yankees haven't had a losing season since the early 90s. The Mets have gone to the playoffs 11 times in 60 years. I mean, come on. Yeah, nobody saw this coming. Nobody. All right. The 83-win season it was a shock the way they closed out the year. All right, but you still finished above 500. And now all of a sudden you got a team that might lose 100 games. Nobody saw that coming. Now, as down as I am on the Mets, would I be that shocked if they make a couple of moves and they're competitive next year? They still have Lindor. They still have Soto. It looks like Ewing and Benj have nice futures. They make some trades at the deadline, and they kind of bolster up the minor leagues a little bit. I'm not saying they're going to all of a sudden win 100 games and go to the World Series, but could the Mets be competitive next year? They could be. I mean, we've seen it happen. It wasn't that long ago. The White Sox are losing 120 games. Now all of a sudden they're in first place in their division. Like, baseball does allow you to kind of turn things around, and the Mets do have the money to do it. But come on, guys, really. He was a New York Yankee, beloved, going to be on a team that wins every year or in competition to win every year, and would have made a little bit less. So you don't have a suite. So your mom might have to walk around with a credential around her neck when she goes to a game. He wanted out because he wanted to know. Because Scott Boras is whispering in his ear, take more because you can get it. You're one of the best players in baseball. You owe it to all the other players in baseball to get as much as you can. Don't take less. Don't take a discount. I'm telling you, best decision for Yankee fans for Judge was not having Scott Boras as his agent, because Scott Boras would have had him go to San Francisco. Come on, Aaron, you're the best player in baseball. You broke the record for American League home runs. You got to get paid. You don't give anybody a discount. There's no hometown discount. You got a chance to make the most money in baseball and go home to San Francisco and play. And he would have been a Giant. But he didn't have an agent that felt like the player was working for him. He had an agent that he was working the other way around, that he was working for the player, not the other way around, and that he listened to his heart instead of his agent. So do I think that maybe Boras talked Soto into it? But you know what? Soto's a big boy. He made his decision. He made up his mind. At any point, he could have said, Scott, no, I'm going to the Yankees. But wait, no. You work for me. Get the deal done. He never did that. So he has to be held accountable for his actions. If he was led by his nose, bad job out of him. But I really don't think he regrets it, because he's making his money. He's playing ball. He's still putting up his numbers. And he's still got the opt-out. I don't think he believes he's losing the way the fans think. See, there's the disconnect between the fans and baseball. Yankee fans are upset the Yankees haven't won a World Series since 2009. The Yankees are thinking, boy, look how good we are. We go to the playoffs every year. We haven't been under 500. We're not the Blue Jays 10 games under 500 after going to the World Series. You think you're losing, they think they're winning. Met fans can think, or Yankee fans too, oh, Soto's losing. So I don't think Soto thinks he's losing. Has he looked as sullen? And let me ask you this. Has he looked as sullen over the last year and a half the way he looked when he first became a Met and wasn't hitting? No, because he wasn't hitting. That's why he was sullen. Since then, he's been hitting. And I haven't seen him be sullen, depressed, upset. I think he's upset now that he's hurt and he's not playing. But, and again, I'm not trying to say that he's selfish, but as long as he's raking, as long as he made his money, I think he looks upon the fact that he won. And that someday he'll get a chance to be in the World Series again. And maybe he will. Maybe he'll opt out, go to another team, or maybe the Mets will figure it out. I mean, the Mets have been to World Series during all this dysfunction. They did go to the World Series in 69 and 73, 86, 2000, 2015. It does happen occasionally. As a matter of fact, think about this. When the Mets make the playoffs, they do go on runs. They've only gone to the playoffs 11 times. They played in 5 World Series. Maybe one day they'll figure it out. Hopefully Juan Soto, it's within the next 13 years. Let's go to Brian in Milburn. You're on ESPN New York. What's up, Brian?
How you doing, Don?
Good.
This is not big to disrespect you. I'm not trying to, I'm a huge fan of yours. I always call you when I can. I got to be honest with you. You're a Mets fan, and I'm a Yankee fan, right? Would you sign a contract with the Mets over the Yankees? It was $200 million equal? No, you wouldn't. I look at Juan Soto, somebody in his family made him do that because they wanted all the amenities. And the Yankees couldn't do that because, look, they got Cole and Judge there. How are they going to give him all that with Cole and Judge don't have that for their families?
That's right. That's
they
where
do that in front of them.
That's where you cause problems. You make one player more important than the other, and nobody should be more important than Judge. You're right.
Yeah, so that's my thing. I think he, honestly, respectfully, he do kind of regret signing there because look what Stearns did to the team. He destroyed the team. He don't want to sign no pitching. He don't want to do nothing. So you think a winning player want to sit around and see that?
But Brian,
I mean, he's probably not going to show it.
Brian, don't you think though? Any normal person, you just said, the slug said your wife knows not to sign with the Mets over the Yankees, right? She does. He had to know when he went to the Mets that the Yankees had the better chance of winning than the Mets did, considering the fact that they always have a better chance than the Mets. I know the Mets came off a really good season, but they lost to the Dodgers, so did the Yankees. But if you really looked at the history, one team's gone to the playoffs 11 times out of their 60 years. The other team goes to the playoffs almost every year. And when they don't make the playoffs, they still finish above 500. Any halfway decent baseball fan could have done the work and realized the Yankees were the better place to be, and yet he still left. And then 18 months later, he regrets it?
It's his family. His family. He probably ain't going to show he regretted, though, honestly, Don. I think somebody in his family. We'll never find that out. I always wanted to call the station and say that to y'all about this subject. Somebody in his family made him do that. I guarantee you that.
Well, you know what? That's on him. Brian, honestly, if Boris made him do it, if his family made him do it, it's on him. He's a grown-ass man, for God's sakes. No offense to his mom. I care about my mom. I love my mom. But I'm going to do what I think is best for me. And believe me, his family wouldn't be hurting if he was a New York Yankee. They might not have a suite. So what? If you care that much about your mom, buy a suite. Yankees would sell you one. That's why I don't think it was about his family. It was all about the courtship. I can go out with the guy that's going to buy me flowers. I'd rather go out with the guy that buys me a car. They just want to be loved, man. This is all generational wealth. We can't even comprehend the amount of money these ball players make. And they realize that. And Soto's family and his next family and the next generation after that is all taken care of by the money that he signed. And he earned it. Somebody was willing to give it to him, and he got it. Good for him. But it's all about the prestige. It's all about the courtship. This is how much they wanted me. Yeah, the Yankees wanted me, but they wouldn't give me a suite. So the Mets wanted me more, and that's where I'm going to go. Because that's all it is at the end of the day, is just wanting to be wanted, wanting to be courted. That's what these guys want. He could have signed anywhere and made generational wealth. Heck, he could have stayed in Washington and made generational wealth. But he wanted to make top dollar. That's why he hired Scott Boras. And he got it. And you're telling me that 18 months later, after getting exactly what he wanted, he now regrets it because the Mets are losing? I don't think that was really on the table. I'm sure he's disappointed they're losing. But regretting it or working his ass off to make sure he gets back healthy and pressure the Mets to make sure that they make the right decisions to go out and start winning again. I'm not saying he doesn't want to win. But if he wanted to win and make a fortune, he would have stayed with the Yankees. If he wanted to make even more money and the most money, then he did exactly what he wanted to do. And I don't think he regrets it for a second. Let's go to Marcus. He's on Staten Island. You're on ESPN New York. What's up, Marcus?
Hi. How you doing, Don?
Good,
Thanks
man.
for taking my call.
Always.
How are you? Yes, I've been, just want to let you know, I want to make some commentary on the Yankees, but I've been a long-time Yankee fan since 1978.
Oh, nice.
So that's who you're talking to.
Cool.
I've been watching the Yankees all these years, and here's what I feel like they need to address at the trade deadline.
Okay.
Well, not just at the trade deadline, but I feel like, from my personal opinion, they need to address the shortstop position. Anthony Volpe they need to move on from Anthony Volpe. And he's had 4 years, though he had unfortunate injuries during those 4 years. He had 4 years to prove himself. He is not the guy,
I agree.
When it comes to,
I don't think Brian Cashman agrees, but I agree.
Right, exactly. And we know that because through social media, we've heard they want to, for some reason, they feel like their conviction that Anthony Volpe is the guy between Cashman and Boone. But I don't feel that way. I feel like they should give George Lombard Jr. a chance. They have nothing to lose. Granted, we're in the midst of postseason and we're trying to get there. But based on what I've seen, videos, and how he's played and how he carries himself, I feel like instead of going out there and trying to get a guy that they probably may or may not be able to get at the trade deadline, whether they do, Arias or whoever, I feel like George Lombard should be given the opportunity.
I don't.
It's homegrown.
I don't disagree with you. I think they want to get this right, and they want to make sure that they call him up at the right opportunity. They've had a couple of opportunities here. They have not done it, so they don't maybe think he's ready, although statistically it looks like he's ready. But if they were to move on from Volpe, Lombard Jr. is your shortstop. The question is, are they willing to do that? And it doesn't seem like they have an appetite. They've invested a lot in Volpe in the sense that they could have gotten other shortstops over the last couple of years and didn't because they didn't want to landlock him. They didn't play him in another position, so they seem sold that he's a shortstop, but a shortstop only. And I think Lombard Jr.'s debut is going to probably come at third. And I hope it's sooner than later. Because if they can't find a way to get a deal done, they have the entire month of August or after August 3rd, before September 1st, to bring him up and maybe have him be the addition that they need. Frankie's in Florida. You're on ESPN New York.
Donnie, how are you, buddy?
What's up?
Just a couple of things. The Soto thing. Look, you have to look at the facts behind that. Look, he didn't stay in Washington because he wanted more money.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't stay with the Yankees because he wanted more money. End of story. Okay, end of story. He's a prostitute. I hate to use the word, but that's what he is.
No, the better way to do it is he's a mercenary. He's a merc.
Right.
That's the more polite way to say it.
Yeah, it's all about personal brand now in sports for the most part. It's very rare that you're not going to find that. So, and I don't know how Michael premised that. He might have said, "Do you think he regrets it?" And that's probably the argument he's going to have with you. I didn't hear his podcast. But anyway, let's move on.
Yes.
The Yankees, and I'm a Yankee fan, obviously. they showed this week, and I've been saying it since the off season, they need more offense.
Yeah.
To trade everything for Miller, okay, a relief pitcher who how many relief pitchers have longevity? You could probably count them on one hand.
Yeah,
especially a
Mo,
power
nobody,
reliever.
yeah.
So there you go. So you're going to trade your whole farm for him. And I'm not saying he wouldn't upgrade the team immediately. He would. But to trade your whole farm for him, when they just showed that the only way they're going to beat the Phillies and probably the Braves and definitely the Dodgers, okay, which is the teams they have to beat, probably even the Brewers, is they're going to have to pitch lights out. They have the staff that can do that once they get healthy. Schmidt will be back, okay. Warren will go to the pen. Who knows? Weathers might go to the pen. Rodon will be back. Pitching is not the issue.
No.
The issue with that team is offense.
Well, what happens, Frankie,
and
sometimes.
Primarily a leadoff hitter.
But what
They haven't
happens
had a leadoff
sometimes,
hitter.
Frankie, because we got to run, but I appreciate it. What they're saying to you is there isn't that big bat we can acquire, so let's strengthen the pitching. Like the best offense is a good defense kind of philosophy. If we're not going to score any runs, let's have more run prevention. But I'm with you. You go out trade for Mason Miller, and in an elimination game in the playoffs, you're down 2-1, and Mason Miller's sitting in the bullpen with his jacket on, and you're chasing a run. And saying to yourself, boy, we spent all this money on Mason Miller, and he's sitting in the bullpen, and there's no use for him because we're down a run. We're not trying to protect the lead. We're trying to come back. More calls at 1-800-919-3776. But up next, the voice of the New York Jets, Bob Wischusen. It's Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg till 6:30 to Mets baseball on ESPN New York.
Mornings with DiPietro and Rothenberg.
Do you know Sven?
I do. Yeah, Sven Butenschon.
Nice.
You know him?
It was on my team. Yeah, Sven Butenschon.
Well, that's how you talk to Sven Butenschon.
Not recently, but he's my buddy when we played here.
So if you saw him walking down the street, you'd be like, Sven, it's me, Rick.
Yes. Big hug.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You know what became of Sven?
DiPietro and Rothenberg. Morning 6 to 10 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
There you were, surrounded by fans. Everybody remembers the game. Nobody remembers the guy coughing behind you. Till a few days later, at 2 a.m., you wake up with a fever and your throat's on fire. Now what? Urgent care? Closed. ER? Slammed. Telehealth? Maybe, but the pharmacy's closed. You needed a medical emergency kit. These aren't first aid kits. They contain essential prescriptions used for over 30 common conditions. Sinus and ear infection, UTIs, stomach bugs, traveler's diarrhea, and more on hand before you need them. Use your doctor-developed guidebook to select the right prescription or call their telemedicine doctor standing by. It's like an urgent care and drugstore at home. When you're sick, traveling, or stranded, you'll wish you'd ordered a medical emergency kit. Order online in minutes and it's shipped to your door. And save $45 with my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880. That's promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880.
If you've been injured on a construction site, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique labor laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling construction accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for hardworking New Yorkers. From scaffold accidents to slip and falls and equipment failures, they've got your back. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS. That's right, 718-WORKERS, because your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
Hey, it's Alan Hahn. At Rings End, they're there to help realize your modern design visions. That's why they partner with Marvin. Engineered for big ideas, Marvin modern windows and doors deliver effortless elegance, expansive views, and industry-leading innovation, all in a modular system designed to meet the exacting principles of modern architecture. Experience Marvin Modern at a Rings End showroom today and create something stunning with them. Rings End is a certified Marvin installing retailer.
You're in charge of ordering boxes. Small boxes, big boxes, really big boxes. You're in charge of tape, labels, mailers, bubble wrap, extra bubble wrap, just for fun. You're in charge of warehouse cleaning and safety supplies. Good thing there's Uline. Thousands of quality products for your business and warehouse needs, always in stock, ready to ship same day, and backed by Uline's legendary 24/7 customer service. Uline makes it easy because you already do enough. Uline, we warehouse for you.
There are a million reasons to love New York. Making your budget stretch isn't one of them. According to an independent study, Amazon prices average 14% lower than other retailers. Get food, fashion, furniture, and more shipped straight to your building. Plus, another study found Amazon Prescription Pass customers pay nearly 1/3 less out of pocket. Learn more at aboutamazon.com.
And now let's take a look at the traffic with Brandy Scott.
Thanks, guys. Should start moving better soon on the West Side Highway northbound, heading over to the outbound. George finally picked up that crash right before the ramps to the Cross Bronx. Still stop and go there from the 79th Street Boat Basin. Inbound George in pretty good shape. No big delays for both the upper and lower decks. Outbound Lincoln and Holland tunnels are only about 15 to 20 minutes each. Rough ride on the Bronx River Parkway southbound over by Gun Hill Road. Big collision, only one lane is squeezing by. FDNY is on the scene, starting to back up to the Cross County and Yonkers. Mets are home tonight over at Citi Field. Just a little bit slow at the Whitestone Bridge heading into Queens from the Bronx side. After that, expressway southbound, a great ride approaching the stadium and Northern Boulevard. This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you're not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Visit mad.org. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
It's Rich Eisen for Pella Windows and Doors. Sometimes teams take a timeout to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Pella Windows and Doors always has the winning game plan. They do it every day, and that's why your neighbors trust them. Visit Pella.com/Eisen today. Right now, Pella Windows and Doors of New Jersey is offering buy one, get one 50% off windows and doors, and no payments, no interest for 24 months. Some restrictions may apply. See local showroom for details. Offer ends July 31st, 2026. Rich Eisen here with some advice. If high-interest credit card debt is grinding you down, it might be time to call an audible with a SoFi personal loan. It consolidates your debt into one low monthly payment with no fees required. And with as soon as the same-day funding, you can make the right play fast. Call an audible on your debt today at SoFi.com/debtplay. Loans originated by SoFi Bank N.A., member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS 696891. Fast funds terms apply at SoFi.com/debtplay.
Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg take you up another hour. 6:30 will be Mets and Braves from Citi Field. Football season is on the horizon. And the voice of the New York Jets is Bob Wischusen, and he joins us here on Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. Bob, I hope you don't mind. No Peter or Alan. It's just me.
You're flying solo?
That's it, just me.
Dream show.
It really is. Honestly, I needed this. I did.
Exactly.
I just needed a moment to myself.
Right. Well, you have twins. So, I can understand why you need some solitude.
That's
How
right.
Are they? How's the family? Everybody's good?
Everybody is terrific. How about you?
Oh, that's great. We're good. You know, I've got 5 of them, so it's like whack-a-mole.
You know, there's
like a problem pops up, you whack it down, another problem pops up. But mostly we have champagne problems. People would, I'm sure, trade their issues for ours. So we're good. They're all fine.
No, but you had there's certain things that resonate with you when you have children. Like certain people will give you advice that really sticks, and it's been almost 9 years. They'll be 9 on December 5th, and I remember when I told you what it was like when I was in the delivery room and just looking at my daughter, and you're like, oh, you know, she'd ask for a pony, and you would run out and get her one. And it's like that. Like that's the bond you have with your daughter. And then so far she hasn't asked for one, but she's asked for a lot of other things. And I've got to like fight myself to not just go on and get whatever she wants, because you get one glance and it's like, oh, she's completely got me.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to offer any advice as the years have gone on to anyone that has multiple children, especially, I would say do what I did. Get a kegerator. It's a great thing to have in the house when you're trying to parent. It makes parenting a lot easier when there's draft beer, like at arm's length.
Yes.
So a kegerator is a fantastic parental harmonious purchase. That's my best advice. Do that.
The other piece of advice is that the daughter is always the easiest until they hit like 12 or 13, and then it's on.
Then it flips. then it's game on.
Right.
So you got about 3 more years.
Yeah, I got
Good
about
luck.
3 more years to enjoy it. But this is as interesting a Jet season as I can remember, just from the standpoint of you've got like half the fan base just wants them to lose every game because there's so many good quarterbacks come out of the draft. All the draft capital, those draft picks will be worth more. And then you finally turn the corner. And then the other half saying, dude, we need a winning season. We got to know if we've got a coach. So I feel like the fan bases are like pulling against each other. So what exactly is the want that Jet fans should have for 2026?
Yeah, I would tell Jet fans the way I'm looking at it. To me, it's almost like a win-win because they have 3 first-round draft picks next year. So if they have another poor season, it only makes their pick that much more valuable because it will be that much higher. If they have a really good season, which for them probably would be like, can they get to hover around 500 and play some really meaningful games late in the year and maybe be in the wild card conversation at like Thanksgiving? Like that would be a major improvement, and I would take that in a heartbeat. But having said that, like you would think that would also mean that Geno Smith had a heck of a year, and that only enhances the chances that he might be able to continue to be that bridge quarterback for whoever they draft next year. And if their pick isn't quite as valuable because they're, say, are a 7, 8, 9 win team instead of a lesser win team, well, they've got 3 of them. So they could still package the picks to go up to get the quarterback that they want. So when you have 3 first-round picks, to me it's hard to see a way that it's just all going to be negative, right? I think no matter which scenario it falls on, their plan is still in place to move towards next year, and I would be absolutely stunned if next year they didn't draft a quarterback. So it is still about next year, about those 3 picks, about getting a quarterback for the future. How Geno factors himself into that will probably be based on how he plays this year and how successful they are.
You know, I go at it with the morning show with Rothenberg and DiPietro because they're always in the just lose. You got to get the quarterback. Well, you got to start winning at some point, right, Bob? I mean, just for the health of the franchise. All right, what does 1 or 2 extra wins mean in the grand scheme of things? Well, it just means that you kind of got a clue. I think people believe in Muji, but do you believe in that plan? If the players he goes out and gets lose games, you don't lose in a vacuum, Bob. If the guys are trying to win and they don't, that's a problem.
Yep, that is well said. I totally agree with that, number 1. Number 2, again, in all of the other years where you would think losing is good and getting the highest draft choice that you can to maybe go get a quarterback is what you're looking for, those are years where they've got 1 pick, right? Theirs. And if you win a few games and that 1 pick drops down to where you can't get the quarterback, then, yeah, like you can understand why a Jet fan would say, what was the point of like the year that they beat the Rams on the road and missed out on Trevor Lawrence and fell to number 2 and got Zach Wilson. That's easily a time you can go back in Jet history and say it would have been better to lose. And I understand why a Jet fan would look at it that way. But that's not this year. They've got 3 of these things. So either your pick, and there's also supposed to be, depending, it always changes. You have to watch the college football season. Guys emerge. No one thought Francisco Mendoza was even going to be much of an NFL quarterback. All of a sudden becomes first pick in the draft. So like you watch these things as they evolve, but right now it looks like there's going to be a handful of very draftable quarterbacks at the top of next year's draft, and they've got 3 picks.
Mm-hmm.
So that's enough ammunition for a 7, 8, 9 win team to move up to get the guy that they're in love with if one of those players, if that's what they have to do. So, yes, I think it's a totally different landscape when you've got 3 first-round picks rather than wondering how, a win here or there might affect just your pick if you're a 1-pick team.
Talking to Bob Wischusen, the voice of the Jets here on Hahn and Rosenberg, ESPN, New York. All right, there's a lot you're wondering about the coach. It was not a good first year for Aaron Glenn. Wasn't a good first year for Bill Parcells, who went 3-12-1, and the next year they go into the playoffs. I mean, I don't want to judge a head coach on 1 year, but what did you think of the job of Glenn, and what do you think about him moving forward?
Well, I mean, I'm sure he wasn't happy with it, but I also look at I don't look at coaches' performances in a vacuum. I look at the hand that they're dealt. Like, what message did the Jets send to the world halfway through a season when, they're trading two of their best players for picks for the next two drafts? Like, you're sending the message to the whole world. It's not about this year, right? Like, we're going to start a rookie, like, basically walk-on quarterback the last 5 or 6 games of the season just to see what we've got. And that didn't work. But they were planning for this past draft and next year's draft. So, yes, I do think they have, with the guys they drafted this past offseason and some of the other players that they've brought in, I do think they've got the foundation so that when they get the quarterback next year, whether he plays next year or hopefully they probably learn from past mistakes and give him, a redshirt year, that you're going to have much more of a foundation for that player when they take over. But that also means Aaron Glenn's going to have a better team to coach as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, I do think that you need to see some improvement. But, I mean, I don't think anybody would look at last year's roster or 2 years ago and not say that the roster they're bringing into this season is improved.
I'm not even going to get into the must-win situation, but how big is that first game to kind of set the tone, especially with the games that are coming up right after?
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's a team that struggled to score last year against your old coach on the road. So, yes, you would like to start off at least with, like, passing the eye test, if not getting a win. And, people put a number on it. Like you guys, I know, if they go 5-12 this year, is that going to cost a coach a job? What about if they go 7-9 or 7-10? To me, there is an eye test factor.
Yes.
Right? Like, when you're a team that's building, hopefully ascending, hopefully building towards those 3 picks next year and getting a quarterback, you want to see the foundation being built so that when the quarterback comes in, he knows he's got a pretty good team to play on, and the coach has, a puncher's chance with a good roster. And if you win 6 or 7 games this year and you're still a below 500 team, but in the other 10 games, you're right there, right? Like, you're playing teams into the fourth quarter. You look like a really competitive opponent, like the opposite of what they looked like for the last 5 or 6 weeks of last year. Then I do think that would be something to build on. So I don't put win totals on it.
Mm-hmm.
I put more like of an eye test, barometer on it, and let's see what they look like. And, every team gets blown out a couple of times. Even teams that win the Super Bowl at some point have an off week in a 17-game season and lose a couple lopsided. I mean, that's why those, knockout pools are all over by the middle of the season, because there are upsets you never saw coming, results you never saw coming.
Right.
But, just be competitive in the weeks that you don't win and have a few more wins this year than you did last year. And I do think that Aaron Glenn can do that.
Is there anything specifically you're excited about going into the season?
Yeah, the young guys they've got on offense.
Mm.
I mean, to have not the whole world focusing on Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, right? Like, bringing Cooper in as a slot guy, he should be, I think, a dynamic weapon. I had Oregon last year in the playoff, and we watched a lot of Oregon tape leading up to that game, and Kenyon Sadiq should be like the freak that everybody thinks he is, that he can play anywhere on the field. He could play outside wide receiver. He can play inline tight end. With he and Mason Taylor, they should be able to do a lot of different things with personnel and formations. I think Frank Reich can get really creative with that group. If the running back room stays healthy, they didn't last year, but if they stay healthy, then and those 3 guys are all factors again. And certainly we all know how good Breece is, and now he's signed, so like he knows that his future with the Jets, at least the next few years, is solidified. Then I think this is an offense that can threaten the end zone a lot more often than it did last year, and just be more fun to watch.
Bob, speaking of fun to watch, it was fun watching you do hockey this past year, especially in the postseason, because the energy is infectious, and And I've known you for 30 years, and you're great at everything that you do, especially the Jets, and that's probably what you're most known for, and, of course, college basketball and football on ESPN. But I don't know, something about hockey, maybe because I'm such a hockey guy, just hits different, man. I know how much you love it, and it comes across in the call.
Well, because you get a chance to do it as well. And, by the way, congratulations on an awesome first year.
Oh, thank you.
Because, obviously, being local – and having the Devils a handful of games. I mean, I'm watching you and Kenny all the time, so it's a great listen. And you know what a great league it is. And that it is, I really believe it's the only league where guys can't have a night where they maybe take their foot off the gas pedal a little bit with how they play, because if you do, you're going to get killed, right? Like, it's a league that, I mean, even when a team is losing 5-1 in the third period, they're still playing 100 miles an hour because they're playing against guys that are going 110 miles an hour. And that's just the nature of the league. So it's a fantastic product to watch every night, and I'm blessed to be a part of it.
I know there were a couple of buildings you hadn't hit yet. Has that changed? Have you gotten a call every building in the league?
Not yet.
Really?
No, a few of the Canadian buildings I haven't been to. So there's a few. But again, that's all based on playoffs, right? Like, a lot of the playoff series have to kind of land in certain places for you to get there. So at some point, hopefully I'll check all 32 boxes. Maybe, who knows, soon to be 34. But yeah, I haven't gotten to them all,
Yeah.
But we're in some fun ones. That's for sure.
What's your favorite of the ones you've called in?
Well, to call a playoff game in the Garden, I mean, that's tough to beat.
Yeah.
Right, like getting a chance to do a couple of Ranger playoff games a few years ago was awesome. So I would definitely hope to be able to do that again. But mostly I've been in the Western Conference and Minnesota. I mean, they call it the state of hockey for a reason. It's an incredible crowd. Dallas is really, really a good hockey crowd. Like, they are into it. It has taken root there since they moved from Minnesota. A generation has been brought up there as hockey fans. And Vegas, they really put on a show. And obviously they're a really good team as well. So from the Western Conference, and Denver, I mean, the Avalanche are a blast to watch, and that place rocks as well. And, I've been to Florida. I did some playoff games, Florida, Tampa last year, not this past year, but the year before. So that rivalry in both of those buildings was a lot of fun. I mean, Don, like, it is a great regular season sport, but it's a playoff sport. And when you get to the playoffs and those buildings have a chance to, like, fill up and rock, and it's fun as an ESPN guy as well, because as much of a blast as college basketball is and was for me, and getting to go to places like Kansas and Duke and Carolina and Indiana and all those places, the tournament shifts to an entirely different network. So you do the whole regular season, but then the playoffs would start, and all these other guys that haven't really called college basketball all year are dropping out of the clouds, and they're doing the tournament when everybody's got their bracket filled out. It's really fun to do the whole regular season in the NHL and know that there's the payoff, like that carrot at the end of the year, where you get a chance to be a part of the playoffs. Because, as we all know, it just like the NBA, it just builds up to April and May.
I was flipping around my phone trying to get rid of some pictures because, with kids, I got no room on my phone now. And I came across that picture that we took together before Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Final at the Garden between the Rangers and the Panthers. And it's such
How much fun was that game?
Well, that was amazing. That was the Barclay Goodrow game-winning goal in overtime.
The overtime winner.
How awesome that was to just be there with you, doing updates on the overnight for you hosting, and then here we are both calling a Game 2 of the conference final in Madison Square Garden.
At the Garden.
It was pretty cool, man. I mean, you've been so good to me, and I've gotten so close to you over these years, and I miss you doing the Jets, so I don't get to see you as much as possible, but hopefully we'll cross paths pretty soon at a rink somewhere, or I'll swing by a Jet game, but you're the best, man. I'm looking forward to the season.
I appreciate it. Hug those twins.
I will. Say hello to everybody at the family, and that's the great Bob Wischusen. He'll be calling games for the Jets on the radio, as he's been for 20-plus seasons. Squeeze in more calls. Last call crew, 1-800-919-3776, and then Anthony Pusick with ENN at 6 on ESPN New York.
When care matters most, experience matters more. The Allure Group is redefining rehabilitation and long-term care across New York with 6 convenient locations. Their expert clinicians create personalized care plans to help you recover, rebuild, and get back to what matters most. From short-term rehab to long-term care, Allure is committed to comfort, dignity, and results. To learn more, visit allurecare.com. The Allure Group, where care meets compassion.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to cars4kids.org now, or call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
Hi, this is Don LaGreca. Just like the New Jersey Devils bring intensity on the ice, Viking Pest Control brings the same level of protection to your home. And I know because I use Viking at my own place. The season may be over, but pests are always in play. So it's time to lock in your off-season defense. As the pest control provider and proud partner of the Devils, Viking delivers 45 years of trusted experience to keep ants, cockroaches, stinging insects, rodents, mosquitoes, and more out of your zone. And when you bundle pest control mosquito services, you score big savings. One call, one company, total peace of mind. Visit VikingPest.com, protecting your home inside and out.
Miller time. People think it just happens, but that's not true. You know what you gotta do? You gotta go say hello with some beers. Make the plans. Forget the couch. Go to that thing. Play the game. See them in person. Talk to that stranger. Live a little. Small acts of rebellion that bring us together. Because legendary moments start with a light. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2026 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Drip Drop is doctor-developed, proven fast hydration that helps your body and mind work better. Trusted by firefighters, medical professionals, and over 90% of top college and pro sports teams. Drip Drop is engineered to hydrate faster and more effectively than water alone, with 3 times the electrolytes of leading sports drinks. Stock up now at dripdrop.com and use promo code RADIO20 for 20% off your first order. That's dripdrop.com, promo code RADIO20.
Congratulations, New York. The Knicks did it. Through battle after battle, they dominated to become this year's NBA champions. Day in and day out, the hard work paid off, and you were there every step of the way. Enjoy the crown. Own it, because this year is your year. A part of your legacy that will never be forgotten. So celebrate this moment, show your pride, and shop the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
Don Hahn and Rosenberg with you till 6:30. Then it's Mets baseball. Brian Hoke is an update on Cody Bellinger's hamstring. It's a grade 2 strain. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. That's according to Aaron Boone. Wow. What? All right, so what is this? The 26th. So that takes us to September. So now you're not really going to know. If it ends up being 6 weeks, now you're in the middle of September. He comes back. And now it's on spec, right? Like, hopefully he'll be back and he'll be completely well enough for the postseason. And you're not going to know because now you're going to be in September. Not only you pass the trade deadline, your roster is set for the postseason with waivers and everything else. So this is not good news. We thought, IL, maybe he'll be out a week or 2, but 4 to 6 weeks. And you wonder if it ends up being 6 weeks, probably have to rehab after not playing for a month and a half. I mean, we're talking deep into September. So now you feel like if you don't have Cody Bellinger for the run to try to win this division and solidify a playoff spot, which I think they can easily do even without Bellinger, but this probably sends a little bit more urgency that a deal is going to have to be made for a bat. You're now moving for the foreseeable future. You're going at least a month now without Judge and without Bellinger. Like, I think Judge is going to come back, but I don't think anybody believes he's going to come back before September 1. So now you're looking at two of your biggest bats. We don't have no idea when Stanton's coming back. Wow, that is not good news for the New York Yankees. And also, Brian Hoke sent out a tweet. The sky's not looking good in Chicago. They've got a 7:40 first pitch and black clouds surrounding not just the Yankees and their health situation, but also the game itself. So stay tuned for that. All right, let's get to the busy phones before ENN. 1-800-919-3776 if you want to climb aboard for that. Talk to Bob Wischusen. He said it right. It's a win-win for the Jets. I mean, if you want to be positive, it's a lose-lose. But it's a win-win. Hey, you have a nice season. You have a coach. And you could always use those picks to trade up if you really want one of the quarterbacks. And then if you end up having a terrible season, all right, maybe you move on from your coach. That's fine. But now you have all of these even more valuable draft capital to be able to get the quarterback and then some. He's right, though, about Mendoza. Nobody had Mendoza on their bingo card to go first overall this time last year. He ended up winning a national championship, and he goes first overall. I don't think he's going to be a great quarterback, but certainly he was picked first overall, so the expectation is by the Vegas Raiders that he is going to be a great quarterback. But you just don't know. Is Arch Manning the guy? Is he going to be the guy? Does he get hurt? Does somebody emerge? If there's a lot of quarterbacks, then you're not going to need the first overall pick. And you can always trade up to get it. And I understand the tanking crowd. Well, I'd rather not trade those picks. I'd rather those picks stay here and be part of our arsenal, and then we're bad, and then we'll be able to take all those picks, and then we'll be able to get a coach because we're going to have a great quarterback coming out of the draft, and we're going to have all this talent, and we're going to be an attractive place for a coach to come, just like the Giants were attractive for John Harbaugh. I don't know who that coach is. But the one thing I'll tell you is so many wacky things happen. As far as what quarterback becomes great, what quarterback becomes a disappointment, what head coach becomes great, what head coach becomes a disappointment. But I will say this, and Bob didn't want to go there with must win, and I'm not going to go there either. But they were talking about it this morning on DNR. Boy, is game one big. It's not an attractive matchup, Jets-Titans. The nation's not going to care about that game, but Jet fans are, because that's a winnable game. And you're going up against Robert Saleh. You want to stick it to him. You want to get off to a good start. And that's going to be important, too. And that's going to
get a cruiser. You get a cruiser.
Where was that from? But when did Alan say that? Oh, that was at Stout, right?
Yeah, throwing sun cruisers at everybody. I don't know why he wanted to do it right now, but
was that an accident or was that an actual drive? I don't know. Point is, 3 tough games after that, and then some winnable games after that, where you've got some games that you could win. Point is, you want to have a good season. You got to start winning some. They took a shot at me this morning again. I don't know why Don thinks 1 or 2 more wins is going to make a difference. It makes a difference. You had the high picks. You had the 2nd overall pick, screwed it up. Had the 5th overall pick, screwed it up. Had the 3rd overall pick, screwed it up. You got to start winning some games, man. This organization has been bereft of wins, 1 winning season in 15 years. You gotta put something together. Can't always be about tanking for the pick because you've had the picks. Heck, the defending Super Bowl champion quarterback was in your stable. And you let it go because you didn't know how to do it. I can give you diamonds. If you're going to drop them, it becomes coal because you don't know what the heck to do with it. I know what to do with Anthony Pusick. He's going to work because ENN is next. Don Hahn and Rosenberg, ESPN New York.
Orgavada Zona? Is that a word? In the 2026 Kia Sportage Turbo Hybrid, it might as well be, because it can be one road trip. It's all about turbocharged power and hybrid efficiency working together, so you get the thrill of quick acceleration and the satisfaction of fuel efficiency. Book a test drive and keep the adventure going. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-3334-KIA for details. Always drive safely.
Monkey Sports, built by players for players, is your one-stop shop for hockey, baseball, lacrosse, and more. Find top-name equipment and expert in-store services like sharpening, break-ins, and relacing. Shop in-store at Monkey Sports in Farmingdale or Woodbridge, or online for all the top brands. Whatever your sports, Monkey Sports gets you game ready fast. Monkey Sports, where athletes shop.
And now let's take a look at the traffic with Brandy Scott.
Thanks a million, guys. I hope you have an amazing rest of the night. We've got the Mets home over at Citi Field. First pitch just a little over an hour away. Also a Carlos Beltran jersey giveaway. Stop and go right at the Whitestone Bridge getting into Queens from the Bronx side. After that, Expressway southbound looking good, heading over to the stadium and Northern Boulevard. Grand Central eastbound, some pockets of slowdowns heading over to the stadium. Delays go back onto the Bronx and Manhattan legs of the Triborough Bridge. Inbound, George looking good. No issues at all for both the upper and lower decks. West Side Highway northbound, heading over to the outbound, George. Looks like we might have a new issue right before the ramps to the Cross Bronx. Slow crawl there. You're backed up to the 79th Street Boat Basin. Outbound Lincoln and Holland tunnels about 15 to 20 minutes each. Some rough weather moving through Rockland County, slowing you down at the Tappan Zee Bridge. Delays go back onto the Westchester side. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
Katie got a VIP box for the postseason. She worked with Empower to help her get good at money so she can be a little bad. She planned well and was able to bring the whole family.
Who wants homemade egg salad sandwiches?
Even Beth.
Horseradish? Anyone? How about some tuna on rye?
Aw, strike three, Beth. Invest well, live a little. Start today at Empower.com.
Harry Douglas here to help you ignite your taste buds with Firework Freeze 5-Hour Energy Shots. Juicy cherry, citrus lime, and blue raspberry. It's that iconic freezer pop flavor, but with none of that guilty sugar aftermath. The perfect summer kick. It's delicious, portable, zero sugar energy shot bursting with flavor. Bring on the summer with Firework Freeze 5-Hour Energy Shots, available online at 5hourenergy.com and on Amazon.
880 ESPN, WHSQ, and WCBS-FM HD2, New York. A Good Karma Brands radio station. This is an ENN special report. Now reporting...
The very handsome Jewish man, Peter Rosenberg.
We should talk some sports. Do what you want. It's ENN.
Fast approaching 6:01 of the big city. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg with you till 6:30. Then it's Mets baseball. Allen off, Peter off, I'm on. And that means Anthony Pusick with ENN.
Thank you, Peter. I appreciate that. Don, how are we doing today?
Good, and yourself?
You did a fantastic job today.
Well, thank you.
Really?
It's not over. There's still 30 minutes of show left.
No.
There's still time to screw it up.
But there's a lot riding on me here.
But
we brought the backup in, and now it could all go haywire. Let's start by saying good evening to our good friend Don.
I say this with all the love. Go ahead. Grow up.
Now, for the Fakakta Drop Madness that we're going to do again, that's probably going to make a run. I think that has a chance to make a run.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I said it because I meant it, but also everything that we say we hope is going to live forever.
Don't we? What about this one?
You just can't spend like a Junkin sailor. A Junkin?
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah. No, we didn't.
Well, Junkin. Trey Junkin.
Sure. Why not? It was appropriate that drunken sailor was mispronounced, though. But look, you're doing a show by yourself.
That's what a drunk person would do, right?
Yes, and if I'm not, well, it looks like Brian Hoke tweeted 5 minutes ago. I believe hail is coming down in Chicago.
Well, and I was looking at the Bellinger tweet about him being out 4 to 6 weeks, which is not good.
Yeah.
The tweet before that was just
ominous,
a black sky.
Yeah. So that look, I'm not a meteorologist.
Not good,
I don't pretend to be one. I'm gonna guess, just guess, that the Yankee game is not going to start on time. This is from today, Don.
You turncoat.
I enjoy that a lot. That's a good one. Michael has chimed in to me, by the way.
He has.
That I'm a bad guy.
What, because you put it up on social media?
I may or may not have wrote turncoat, all capital letters. Don LaGreca has some things to say about Michael K's.
Isn't that the headline of the rant?
It is. Yes.
Was it officially a rant? I'm not sure. We had a caller call it a rant, but that's not up to them.
We don't have a write-up list anymore. It was ranty. Like Auntie Ranta. It was a little bit of a rant in there, I think.
Yes.
I liked it.
I enjoyed every second of it. I'll do it again.
Griffin.
Phenomenal.
Thank you. Griffin.
Really?
No, really?
Phenomenal.
I agree. A caller.
Lebozo is done.
That was from Friday.
Listen.
But hey, listen. We have fun here. It's been a good program.
James.
Yes, LaDon. I remember LaDon James. I forget why he called it.
Yeah, I forget it too.
Forget why he called it. Well, he did mention that. We have a lot to get to on the football side. None of it having to do with what's on the field. Most of it troubling. So I think it's best if we go to Shams from NBA Today talking about the plan for LeBron in Philly.
We're going to be looking at some point LeBron James this upcoming season. The Sixers, I'm told, are expecting LeBron James to play a good amount of time and period of time at the point guard position on offense, so initiating the game, the offense for Nick Nurse. Tyrese Maxey last season played a lot on the ball at point guard, and we know his prowess off the ball as a scorer. Think of a better player that can set the table for Tyrese Maxey, Jaylen Brown, Joel Embiid, VJ Edgecombe. There's all these players that can score, that can get the ball from LeBron James. And the one season LeBron spent at point guard in the NBA in his 23 seasons, the 2019-2020 season, Shanae. He led the league in assists. The Lakers won the championship that year. And we never saw point LeBron again until potentially this season.
Point guard LeBron James.
Well, that was 6 years ago.
6 years ago.
And that was in the bubble. I guess that was the COVID season.
That's something, no?
No, it's not.
It's nothing to you.
No, I agree with you. No, it's not nothing.
It's not.
something.
It's something.
I mean, but he's going to play somewhere. So all I know is if you are a New Yorker, and there's a lot of you out there that hate on Philadelphia, you're going to puke. It's going to be
There's going to be a lot.
Sixers this, Sixers that, LeBron, Sixer. Hey, LeBron, Sixer. Here comes LeBron's helicopter from New York. Oh, the Sixers, LeBron, Sixers. Indeed.
And I'm gonna take a quote from you, Don. We got to see what it looks like. On paper, this looks good. Joel Embiid, VJ Edgecombe, LeBron James, Jaylen Brown. How's it going to gel? LeBron playing point guard.
But
how is he going to be able to handle that? Oh, and look, I think he's still very talented, and I think he's still one of the better players in the league. But playing point guard, something as you pointed out, he hasn't done in 6 years.
But here's the issue. Is that the regular season doesn't mean as much anymore in the NBA as in terms of where you finish.
Yeah.
Right? Like back in the day, if you were a 5 seed, it's a death sentence. You're not making a run to the finals, having to go through the top seeds and all that.
Yeah.
But if they take some time to gel and then end up being like a 4 or 5 seed of the playoffs, but they've hit their stride come playoff time, they could still make a run. Like, so they've literally got 82 games to figure it out. Now, it was a long time ago, but it took a while for the Heat to get going when LeBron first got there. But they lost to Dallas in the finals, right? So I don't worry about that. I wouldn't be surprised. We'll have conversations in November. What's wrong with the Sixers? They're 6-8. They're under 500. First take will be doing, did LeBron make a mistake? And then by the time we get to April, it'll be like, look, the Sixers are the favorites to go to the final.
Now, the Knicks did not have LeBron James, but look at the questions we had in the middle of the season about the Knicks. Well, Mike Brown going to be fired. We had these conversations.
Yeah.
So it can happen. It could very much happen.
I mean, the West was different. You knew it was the Thunder and the Spurs from the get-go. And that might be the case this year, too. But the East, the last few years, has been very fluid.
Yes, very.
So I wouldn't worry too much about the gelling.
Charles Barkley on the SAS Pod, Stephen A. Smith's podcast, you and me, on if LeBron wins in Philly.
Well, I think, number one, it would be incredible. But the number one knock on LeBron for older guys like myself has always been, yo, man, you always stacking your team. He stacked it in Miami. He stacked it in Cleveland. He stacked it in L.A. Now he's stacking it in Philly. So that, to me, I'm going to still have the same criticism I've always had. He's always stacked his team.
Well, people want to play with LeBron James. Now, he's going to a team that already had all of these pieces, but
of course,
where was he going to go?
His team. Well, listen, he is going to be the guy that they say stacked his team because he's the de facto general manager. But if you have LeBron James, you have LeBron James because you think you have a chance to win.
Mm-hmm.
So that general manager, whoever it is, whatever era, whatever team, is going to make sure I get LeBron James, the best player, so we can take advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think they're stacked as it is.
I agree.
That's why he chose Philadelphia. But if he ended up going to, what were some of the other rumored places that he was going to go? If he went to Cleveland, that team went to the conference final last year. He wasn't going anywhere. He was not looking to rebuild a team. He wanted to go to a ready-made team.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a team that, even though they're ready-made, got bounced in the second round last year, haven't won since 1983, haven't been to the conference final since 2001. So it's not like if he had gone to Golden State and that team recently won championships.
The East is going to be, not that it wasn't fun this year, great for us. We enjoyed it a lot. The East is going to be fun again.
Well, it's interesting that when we had Bob Wischusen on, he talked about that the NHL is a great regular season league. It is, because it's hard to make the playoffs now with so many teams, and they haven't added any playoff teams. So it's because it's hard to make the playoffs and there's no guarantee, it makes the regular season fun. The NBA's become that too, not in the sense of whether you're going to make the playoffs or not, but where you're going to finish. Like you said, the East. It looks like the Knicks will be the 1 seed, but it seems like every year there's some team that comes out of nowhere as the 1 seed, but they're not good enough to win in the playoffs. It was Cleveland 2 years ago. It was Detroit this year. Like, who's it going to be this year? Is Orlando all of a sudden going to figure it out and win 55 games and be the 1 seed, to get bounced in the first round? Like, it makes the regular season, like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
That's what you're looking for instead of, it's going to be Golden State and Cleveland. It's just a matter of who has home court.
So we talked about Aaron Boone saying the Cody Bellinger injury update. Would you like to hear from him asked probably by Meredith? Does it feel like the injuries keep piling up for this team? Yeah.
Obviously we've had some tough injuries to some really important people, but again, that is part of it. And as I say, the season waits for no one. So it creates an opportunity, legitimately does, for one or more people, to go plug that hole, to develop, to grow. And we feel very much that we have capable people out there, capable guys that are capable of going out there and performing at a high level. So, we got to weather that storm and confident we can do that.
Are those the people gathering up the animals in the ark?
Yeah, there was something
Chicago?
There was something going on there.
Look,
had nothing to do with what Boone was talking about.
What is Aaron going to say? We've heard all that. What is he going to say? Max Schumann is leading off. God love him, leading off tonight for the New York Yankees. And Max Schumann, when he tries to field the ball in the outfield, looks like he has no idea where the ball is going. Because every time he tries to dive for one, he never makes it, and then the ball rolls to the wall. And I'm not just picking on Max Schumann. The defense in the outfield.
It's Max Schumann. Nobody had, when you were evaluating the 26 Yankees.
What was Max Schumann going to?
Yeah, exactly how would he fit into the grand?
And I actually don't dislike him. I think he's a decent hitter. But the fielding, without Grisham for a time, now no Cody Bellinger, who is a Gold Glove left fielder in his own right, and Aaron Judge, who is very good in the field as well, is not great. On top of the fact, as you pointed out, Don, that the pitching is what won them 2 games against the Philadelphia Phillies this weekend. They can't hit very well right now.
They can't hit, and it's going to get worse without Bellinger.
Yeah.
But they can pitch, man, and the American League stinks. Now, this will be an interesting series because we always just say, the Central concedes, but they did have trouble with Detroit earlier this year. So let's see what Chicago is. Is Chicago ready for this? Catching the Yankees at the right time. They're home. These games are very meaningful for the White Sox. God, it was just 5 minutes ago they were trying to avoid the record for most losses in a season, and now they're a first-place team.
It can turn that quickly.
It helps that 5 games above 500 can have you in first place, but
that does help.
Good job out of them.
If there's a game tonight, and Michael put out a tweet. I don't think the heavy stuff's coming down for a while behind either window or cover of the dugout of the press box, and it does not look pretty in Chicago right now.
No.
Couple of unfortunate stories out of the NFL. One this weekend, it was on Saturday. I was actually in my car. I heard it on ESPN radio. San Francisco 49ers coach Kyle Shanahan suffered significant injuries in a car crash during his summer break in mid-July that will leave him limited as the team opens camp. He broke his nose, 3 ribs, and his hand and needed more than 40 stitches in his face and suffered a severe concussion. I didn't know that was the thing. Severe concussion during a July 14th car crash when he collided with an SUV near his Northern California home, according to sources familiar with the situation.
Now, it happened on July 14th.
Yes. We found out
Saturday, which was the 24th. So they sat on this for
25th, but yeah, still.
11 days.
10, 11 days. Yep.
Why?
I don't know.
Like, listen, it's a story. He's a major figure in the Bay Area. He's a major figure in the NFL. He got into a serious car accident. No one died. Nobody's saying anything illegal happened. Why would they sit on it?
I don't know.
For 11 days. What are they trying to keep from everybody? Like, it's amazing. And then here's what the funny story. It was NBC had the social media.
Yeah.
Florio does a show with Chris Sims.
Yes, their podcast, right? Yeah.
And Chris Sims, I don't know whether he didn't know what he was talking about or didn't care. He was saying, for 11 days, I kept looking at my wife saying, when's the story going to break? When's the story going to break? So he's admitting that he knew.
So clearly he knew someone that knew.
Yeah, but no, and I'm not saying that Chris Sims has to break it.
No.
But like, there were people that knew, but it seemed like everybody that knew was motivated not to tell the story. What is the issue? If there was nothing illegal and he just happened to get into a car accident, how does the police not report it to the media? Why are people sitting on this?
Doesn't make much sense.
Then the second, the second, Anthony.
That's me.
That the story breaks because the 49ers released the statement.
Right.
That's when all of a sudden the information started trickling. So everybody not everybody, but there were people in the know that were motivated to keep this quiet. I need to know why.
Well, here's the thing, Don, because obviously training camp is starting. If training camp didn't start Monday, does this story come out Wednesday, Thursday, whenever like the day before training camp is? Because they're going to be like, where's Kyle Shanahan? Oh, he got into a bad accident. When? 2 weeks ago.
So
2 weeks ago.
I guess if this had happened in April and he was okay by training camp, we would have never found out about it. Now, listen, I don't think we need to know everything.
No.
So please, I'm not saying, bad journalistic integrity. How do you not tell it? I don't need to know. If he's okay, fine. But I just want to know why this story.
Right.
When everything else breaks, anybody and their mother gets into an accident, gets arrested, whatever. Geno Smith gets pulled over the other day, and everybody knows about it.
And Rich has it, like, immediately.
And Kyle Shanahan, who is the head coach of one of the most popular teams in the NFL, in a major market like San Francisco, and they sat on it for 11 days. What was the motivation behind that? Now, maybe it was just the fact that Kyle didn't want anybody to know, and he's influential enough to get people to not. But damn, that's how many influential people still have things that are leaked out. Like, it's amazing. But yet, so is something being hidden, or is it why? What would motivate the 49ers not to tell anybody? It was a simple car accident. Now, if he had done something illegal, if it was a DUI, if somebody was injured, then you could understand why you wouldn't want it out. But apparently, he's the only one that was injured. It's nothing overly. I mean, severe concussion is tough.
It's scary, but by all accounts, it looks like he's going to be fine. It doesn't seem like we've heard anything about nefariousness on either side. So it's very odd. Trent Williams said he found out through social media. Fred Warner says that he found out through Shanahan's wife, Mandy. So I don't know. It's thankfully he's okay. They're running practices fine. He's there. He's not doing anything, but he's there.
It's just odd. And when something's odd, I want answers.
And you want answers.
But, again, don't misconstrue. I'm not saying it's anybody's business. I wish we didn't find out half the stuff we find out.
Correct.
But the fact that we do find out as much as we find out, that, even TMZ, nobody had it.
Not a soul.
When was the last time a team announced something that happened 11 days after the fact? They might announce something that somebody died or something serious happened within a few hours after it happened because they might be the only people that know about it. But Kyle Shanahan gets to a serious car accident.
Yeah.
And no one but the 49ers announced it 11 days later. That's very curious.
Speaking of curious and odd and all of those things, earlier this morning, North Carolina football general manager Michael Lombardi, top aide to Bill Belichick, had been placed on administrative leave by the university. The UNC announced Monday that Lombardi's leave is effective immediately, but did not disclose any other details. The school's decision, according to ESPN's Pete Thamel, stems from a human resources complaint filed by a former UNC front office employee, and there is a pending investigation into the matter.
All right. Well, that could be anything, right?
Peter has said that this dalliance that Bill Belichick's going into in UNC is not going to end well. So far, it has not.
No.
And there are just things around it that make it more awkward and weird. This is one of those things.
Understood. This might not have anything to do.
No, absolutely not.
And
It's
if
just
he goes
going to
out
look
there and wins 8 games and goes to a bowl,
correct.
He can get everybody to forget about it. But no, it has not gone
But
swimming.
the article on ESPN right now, if you go to the college football page, Mike Lombardi's leave the latest cloud for Bill Belichick at UNC. And Mike Lombardi's only there because of Bill. And again, this could have nothing to do with Bill. It's just, but you know what I mean?
It's his choice. It's his program. When you get to college, whether it's football or basketball, the head coach is the face of everything. So if a player, assistant,
and it's
anything
his guy,
that happens, it becomes your problem.
It's all encompassing, and that's another one that we're going to have to keep an eye on, see what's going on there. This is a sad story. I'm not very uplifting today on ENN, but quite frankly, this is just the stories that we have.
You call them as you see them.
The wife of Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy was allegedly shot by the couple's son Sunday night at the family's home in Virginia. Maya Bieniemy was hospitalized in stable condition on Monday. Police in Loudoun County, Virginia, confirmed that a woman was being treated for serious injuries from multiple gunshot wounds, but did not disclose her identity. Their 27-year-old son, Elijah Zion Bieniemy, was arrested and charged with malicious wounding, use of a firearm in commission of a felony, and discharge of a firearm inside of a dwelling, according to the sheriff's office. Sources told ESPN Maya Bieniemy was shot in the chest and the arm. Andy Reid spoke today at practice. Our hearts go out to Eric Bieniemy. Maya is stable, which is a plus. We love AEB, and you hate to see those things happen.
I don't know what to say.
Just sad story.
As somebody with children, to ever think that your child could turn on you like that? I mean, you saw, that unfortunately these things happen. Yeah. But God, I could not imagine, Nancy going through something like that and then finding out that it was the hands of my son or daughter. No, I couldn't deal with that.
So I think I need to break this up a little bit. Another story, and then Peter's Commanders actually unfortunately catch some of the bad press today. The Washington Commanders fired tight ends coach Ben Steele on Monday, 2 days before training camp, and more than a month after he was arrested for a DWI. He was charged with a DWI on June 7th in Loudoun County, Virginia. Ironically enough, the same county that the Bieniemy story happened, after he was observed to change course after signal, according to the County General District Court in Loudoun. Steele was also charged with obstructing/resisting without force, according to court documents. He refused a blood and breath test and was released on his own recognizance. He was officially fired for violation of team policy. The big story, of course, coming out of the offseason before all of this was the Mike Vrabel, Diana Rossini of it all.
Sure.
Mike Vrabel is doing everything in his power. I don't know if you've seen this, Don, on social media, to make everybody forget about that. Here he was in his press conference yesterday.
I'm going to do my best here with BB. Welcome, everybody. It's good to see you guys. Something that we did last year, obviously the first day of training camp, was the Patriots program that Dana Kraft implemented last year and was really successful. Did a lot of really good work, not only for these dogs, but for the families that adopted them. So I think we've almost got 60 dogs this year. If anybody's looking to add to their roster at home, we would love for you to be able to adopt these dogs tomorrow. I think some of them are already spoken for. Me and BB are making quick friends here. German Shepherd mix, so been working with her all year. She's going to try to protect me.
He brought out a sympathy puppy.
Well,
how do you ask hard questions when there's a sympathy puppy?
You don't.
It's for a good cause, and I hope all the dogs get adopted. I'm not saying that, but
I appreciate the effort. No, because
I want him to come out with a different dog every press conference.
But usually what happens in those situations is that you make a statement, either saying, I'm not going to answer any questions but football questions, and then somebody would ask about Rossini, and then I said I'm not going to answer any questions, and storm off or be confrontational or be creative and find a way to disarm the media. Now, did it work?
As far as I know, I didn't see any other questions from this press conference other than Mike Vrabel has an adorable dog with him in his hands. And by the way, I don't think even the media would have asked him any questions. I just find it funny that, of course, this is for a good cause. It's backed by the Patriots and everything else. But it's should we really let him go out there with the dog?
Now, I'm not at the press conference.
No.
I would think people that cover the Patriots they're good. They either A, have had asked every question already,
Right.
or B, just know they're not going to get an answer, so why bother? And why hurt the relationship by asking something sensitive? But that doesn't mean we don't live in a day and age where there were probably tons of people at the press conference that don't care about the Patriots and just care about the Rossini story and would ask that. Were they credentialed? Were they there? I don't know, but that would have been difficult even for them to ask.
By the way, I don't even think that's why he did it. The optics of it are just funny to me.
Well, here's why there's a possibility that he didn't. Because these coaches, when they move on, they move on. It's football time.
Hold this dog.
Why would you even ask? Because it's football time. That was during the summer. That was during the off season. Where it's on now.
I'm surprised you didn't take the dog and say, it's football time. What am I doing with BB?
What am I doing?
Why is BB here? Can BB play linebacker? That's my question. Adam Schefter, just 7 minutes ago, a source tells him Vita Vea has requested a trade from the Bucs. That's not nothing. Very good defensive player for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we'll have to figure out maybe tomorrow why that is. Speaking of putting your foot in your mouth, Trey McBride on Bussin' with the Boys talking about Cardinals fans.
Living in Arizona, no one's from Arizona. Everyone kind of has moved in from another state, so they're all fans of their own team. So now you have the Arizona that sits there, and there's no Arizona fans in Arizona. So it's a tough deal, but hopefully we start winning some games and we can bring some of those fans back.
Well, I wouldn't say no one's from Arizona, but yeah, like a lot of people are not from there, and also how far the stadium is from where a lot of the people live, that's a problem.
Well, he realized that may not sound too great.
Probably shouldn't have said that. It came out, wrong. Obviously the fan base is great. We have a tremendous fan base. Arizona's been here, loyal fans to all, the sports teams here. And we're very lucky to have a lot of these guys. And we're going to have a great season. We're going to win games, and we're going to make sure those fans have something proud to cheer for.
All right.
Like I said,
that's going to do it for ENN today on this Monday. Peter on assignment. He will be back tomorrow.
Looking forward to it. It was fun. To be by myself for a day, but Peter will be back tomorrow. We'll be whole again in a couple of weeks. Mets baseball is next on Hahn Rosenberg, ESPN New York.
This is the Michael Kay Show.
Here's the one thing I think is the conundrum for Brian Cashman. If Judge doesn't come back, now doctors reportedly are telling them that he is going to come back. When that's going to be, anybody's guess. But if Judge doesn't come back, by making trades and using collateral to get players back to fill holes,